Hey everybody, welcome back to CyberPunk Red, a Gamer's Ledge live play podcast. It's with the tabletop system that takes place about 30 to 40 years, 20 to 30 years, somewhere in there, a couple decades, prior to the video game Cyberpunk 2077. As I wouldn't say as always because we have not been playing this for that long, but as recent, our players, go ahead and say hi and who you're playing. I will start with Naomi.
Hi, I'm Naomi. I'm playing No One, a fixer.
All right, and Anthony.
Hey, I'm Anthony. I'm playing Frenchie the MedTech.
Okay, Mark.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mark. I'm playing Bishop the Hacker, or Netrunner, excuse me.
And Jay.
Hi, this is Jay. I'm Midnight, the Rocker Boy.
Awesome. We also have Hector, who's going to be running a little bit late today, and he is playing an additional Netrunner, Billy, who's playing an additional Netrunner named Hector. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The last we left, you guys, was last Friday, and you were on the search for a wayward 25-year-old of a corpo. Named Linus. He had a kind of a pretty bad drug problem and had come to Luminous Nouveau on his own and then disappeared. Why don't I have somebody who took notes fill in some of the details, and then we'll go into what each of you have been doing following that.
I do have some notes I can give if you like.
Sure.
Well, what I typed was that Silvio Kane, his father, a rather wealthy individual who was in Baron's Roost / Square, worked with and for Continental Brands. His son, Linus, went missing in the city about 3 months ago. And Linus, 25, as you said, has some bad habits, some with dolls, but other things like Boost and Smash. Ended up in M Nation, arrived on October 3rd. Were being paid a pretty handsome sum and walked away with 2 apples somehow. That's what I have.
Okay. Anybody else?
That's pretty much the gist of it. The interesting part was that he looked pretty emaciated in the picture that we were given, and we actually found, are we recapping the IC stuff too?
So you can go ahead and start. We are going to have to go through each player and talk about kind of what they were looking into. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll wait on that. That's pretty much what I had as well. They didn't want to use the LMPD because they could be bought easily, and bribes don't always work the way that they want. We had some video of him. We had some other information passed on a chip, and we had some ATM transactions So that was kind of what we had to work with. We also spoke with the female bodyguard, and she had not considered the fact that this could be a way to legitimize the father rubbing out Linus, but we'll see.
Okay, if no one has anything else, let's go ahead and start talking about the things that your characters were looking into, and some of the information that you found out over the last week. So we'll go ahead and start with Mark, as you were the last one that was talking on my screen.
Yeah, so basically, one of the things that I checked with both my media contact and my mob contact, and the media contact kind of came up empty, but the mob contact came back with some information that one of the dealers in that area of M Nation was bringing in 6 times his usual take. And so he passed me the name and the address, and I had put out a request to the group saying if somebody wanted to go with me, because although I'm good at talking, I'm not good at breaking anybody's fingers or anything, so I'm not really in interrogation time, etc.
I actually think that the name you got for the dealer was one of no one's contacts.
Okay, so
Also,
yeah, and his name
Yes.
was
Fex.
Fex.
Yeah, Fex is one of my contacts.
Good deal. So no one might want to meet up with Bishop, and they can go together.
Yeah, they'll meet up,
Theoretically.
but I'm not really a finger breaking person, but we can see where it goes.
That's fine. If you break it, I can fix it.
All
Do I
right.
have to?
So let's go to Naomi, since we're in that grouping. How about no one?
Okay, no one was looking into the drug connection side of things, because I know he had a thing for the dolls and the girls, but I kind of wanted to use. No one wanted to use their connections to kind of see if we could use the drug angle to find anyone. And I did find Fex as a known, not accomplice, associate of mine, and as well as a Doc Charm, who is a charismatic dealer. Fex isn't really replying to my my pings right now, but I know Doc Charm can always be there if money is on the line.
And let's go to Frenchie.
So Frenchie was, as a member of Trauma Tech, he knew some people at the various hospitals around M Nation, so he got in contact with some of his buddies over there to see if anybody matching the Corpo's son's appearance was seen at any of the hospitals. One of the nurses remembered seeing him come in with bruises, some light stab wounds. They treated him up. He checked in with the name of Sil Dominguez, I believe.
Correct.
Yep. And after he got healed up and fixed up, he departed the hospital through the Delamain taxi service. Frenchie went to check in with the Delamain taxi service to see if he could get some information about where the guy was dropped off at, and got shut down pretty hard. That's what I got.
And Midnight. Nate Midnight.
Well, Nate decided to first call upon a contact named Freight Train Betty. She is a smuggler and human trafficker, and he started to wonder if the way in which Linus had got into town had some kind of bearing. So he sent her a message to try to find out some information, and he also sent a message to a guy named Big Eddie or Big Shine McGinnis, who is, I guess you could say, a mob contact that deals with, I guess you could say, underworld dealings, but may have heard something about his whereabouts or associates and whatnot. And I think we did something in our own chat, but I don't know if it ever arrived on the IC chat.
It didn't because it was just you and I, but that it still counts. So you can go ahead and share that or not, your choice.
Well, I don't know. Well, actually, let me go back to it then. I have to access. You have it in front of you because I don't have it in front of me.
Essentially,
You got more windows than me, but I do have a lot.
essentially, I'll just fast forward. That's fine. Devi lets you know that there was some pushback in one of the.
You had switched it to Eddie, actually. You were looking at one contact and then said, "Oh no, we're using a different guy."
Oh, you're right. I'm still scrolling. Eddie said that there was some pushback. He's your mob connection, right?
Affirmative.
There was some pushback with some kid that was trying to steal something from them on their turf, but he's light on the details. It did sound like he's saying something, but doesn't mean something. He might mean someone. Scroll. And Betty, who feels that she owes you one, sent you a clip of what looks like Linus on the train itself. And you're not entirely sure how because most of those are closed circuit, and she had to have kind of bent over backwards to pull that video. But it shows Linus talking to somebody on his agent for nearly the whole trip.
Right.
And if he's not angry, it's almost like he is happy talking to this person.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's that. Hector. Let me go back up to Hector's spot. Hector was doing research because Hector hasn't been in Lumens Nouveau for very long. Hector was doing research on the Vendit withdrawals and Droidal locations. The locations were all south to southeast of M Nation, and on the map, that is kind of the same area near immigration docks, and just south of that. There really is only one Joy House within range of all of those withdrawals, and that's Dave's Drilling. It's run by a former docker/oil driller that worked off the southern coast. The company's garden patch has a handful of dolls listed and registered, and doesn't take walk-ins. The building is an old motel with a nautical theme. Security's been plussed up in the area over the last handful of years and seems to be in the territory of the White Hands, a mostly nomad group of gangers that have a swath of coastline in M Nation that they call the Beach of Bone. And Hector was heading down to Dave's Drilling with, obviously they don't take walk-ins, but he's not going to try to talk to any of the dolls. He specifically wants to try to talk to the owner and see if the owner has anything about a Sil Dominguez. Because I'm assuming, unless you say otherwise, you guys, that you're sharing this information back and forth.
I think both Frenchie and I specifically mentioned that we were broadcasting to everyone.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason that Nate would have to withhold anything from anybody.
Yeah, so it's only Frenchie.
I just
Frenchie
want to clarify. Frenchie also said that, but I also just want to clarify. The Joy Doll location was Dave's drills.
Dave's drilling.
Dave's
Yes.
drilling is
Like
the
an
name
oil
of
rig.
the Joe.
Because it's an oil rig, but also a double entendre. He thinks it's a clever name. Dave, that is.
I agree with him.
1 second, you guys. I'm trying to find something.
Although, to be fair, it could be interpreted
To
as
be fair.
Dave's getting drilled. But whatever.
Okay. Are you, Mark? Are you on the map page?
On the map page, I am not. But
sorry.
I can be.
The check-in page.
Yeah, check-in page. I am now.
I guess I could check Twitch.
I am now.
Can you move to the map page?
I am at the map page.
Thank you.
Although something's weird. Hold on a second, Daniel. I got something weird going on here on the map page. Okay, there you go.
This episode is brought to you by Captain Caliente. Set sail for flavor. Is your kibble a little bit too dreary? For just 1 Yeti in most vending machines, you can find a huge swath of neat little flavors from Captain Caliente. Remember, it's about time you set sail for flavor. And we're going to go ahead. You can close that now. We're going to go ahead
snap.
and
Only 1 Eddie? That's a deal.
it's a deal. Yeah, yeah.
I wonder what it's made of.
Don't ask those questions.
Oh, my bad.
My favorite flavor for my kibble right now is nacho relish. It's really awful, but
It's
better
not
than kibble.
it's not nacho. It's nacho relish.
That's right. Whose relish is it?
Nachos.
All right, so we're gonna go because all of you, well, most of you, are kind of doing individual things. So we're gonna go ahead and go through and run each of your individual things, unless you want to pair up, because you have been talking, and it sounds like No One and Bishop are teaming up. And Frenchie is at the Delamain taxi office, and Midnight is, where are you, Midnight?
Well, I can be with Frenchie if he so chooses.
You want some backup?
I'm
Why not?
totally fine with that.
Okay, so
we
I'm
can
going
both
to
be shut down by the AI.
That's right. I'm going to go ahead and say that when Frenchie was heading to Delamain's office, he hit Nate up so that Nate arrives just shortly after he does. That way we don't have to worry about traffic.
Theoretically, Bishop and No One could wait till Frenchie and Midnight are done at Delamain's, and then we could all go to find facts.
Is that what you want to do? You guys are
Sounds
the choices.
Yeah, let's just have everybody go to Delamain's together.
Or we meet at Delamain's once Frenchie's there and been shut down.
Sure. Delamain shuts Frenchie down. Frenchie walks outside and summons the Fab Five.
There you go.
We're going to have a bat signal or something.
No, it'd be the Frenchie signal.
Okay. As Frenchie is attempting to get Delamain to assist, he notes that there are people, because it still is pretty early in the morning, there are people kind of hanging out in the lobby, either from waiting over last night or waiting for their ticket number to be called. The AI screen, a very pale face, very similar to the one that Bishop is currently hosting, except with bright, like electric blue lips, was less than helpful, as almost number one for Delamain's taxi service is
confidentiality.
Yes, confidentiality. And so they do not want to share the information.
Has Nate arrived where Frenchie is?
Yes, Nate arrives, and then about 10 minutes later, the other two will.
Well, I was going to actually ask Frenchie something, if Nate's there and can talk to him. Does he see Frenchie, walking away like, doggone it, this didn't work, or
So
you were
Frenchie,
just shut down, Frenchie, so it's your choice.
yeah, so Frenchie had walked into the Delamain office and had talked to the receptionist AI screen and got shut down because he's asking for information on a taxi ride for a service that prides itself on confidentiality. So that did not go well. So Frenchie is going to walk outside, mildly frustrated, and sending the message to the rest of the group that the Delamain AI service is not keen on providing the information I was looking for.
well, Nate's gonna get it like right when he walks up to you, Frenchie, and says, "Frenchie, my friend, having trouble."
Yeah, the Delamain AI doesn't want to give us the information, so we know that Delamain taxi service took our Sil Dominguez, our Corpo's son, somewhere, and I can't figure out where.
Does the AI have a name?
Delamain.
Nate's gonna just kind of put his hand on his shoulder and say, "Let me give it a shot." And sort of, slicks his hair back and sort of does this "come on with me" kind of motion, like, kind of walk behind me. And is it like an office where you walk in and it's just a screen?
So, I'm sure you're familiar with it, but you know how like if you go to get your oil changed or your tires rotated or whatever,
Sure.
there's usually a little lobby, and then there's a desk, and then behind it, there's the sound of a bunch of auto parts being or autos being fixed and stuff. That's
Mhm.
essentially what you walk into, except the it looks like it's fairly secure, and you can't get behind there is no way really for you to get behind the desk. There is a flat screen monitor, about 30-inch flat screen monitor that's hung right where a receptionist would be, and it's a
Mhm.
black screen with a white face with electric blue lips, and there's a handful of people scattered about on couches and chairs that are sleeping or playing on their agents or reading a book, newspaper, whatever, that seem nonplussed or bored.
Well, Nate's going to approach the screen with Mark's face on it and sort of hit the button or the screen or whatever to activate, and sort of look back at Frenchie and say, "Yeah, don't worry, I got this." Kind of give that motion and say, "So, my friend has some questions. I think we can work something out."
Hello, sir. How can I help you today?
You can help me by answering my questions.
That all depends on the question, I suppose, sir.
Well, at this point, Nate is sort of going to look behind him, like across his left shoulder, and sort of give Frenchie the cue to repeat. And yeah, go ahead and do that.
No,
Unmuted,
you're on mute.
preferably.
You're on mute.
Sorry, I forgot. I didn't realize I was on mute. Thank you. So we're just looking for the location of where our Sil Dominguez may have been dropped off. That's all.
I'm sorry, sir. If a person named Sil Dominguez had taken some of the Delamain, especially luxury, cabbie service, one thing our customers can rely on is our discretion. I'll be unable to assist you with this request. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I think security is also a matter that pertains to you as well. The safety of the people need to be considered.
Sir, I can assure you, safety and security are our number 2 guarantee. And the face looks up at both corners of the room, and you can see auto turrets that slide down from the ceiling and move through everybody, and that wakes some of the people up, and they start sitting up, and they're like, "Oh God, please don't shoot us!" And then the auto turrets roll back into the ceiling.
Nate's going to sort of slightly raise both his hands up, open as though he doesn't have anything in them, and then readdress the screen and say, "I completely understand. But you see, this is a friend of ours. We need to know this information to help him. come on, we can make a deal. And if possible, perhaps Nate can persuade. Is there a roll I can make?
I mean, there's always a roll you can make. It is a kind of simulated AI receptionist, so I'm not
Well,
entirely sure.
I expect a modifier of some kind, perhaps a target number modifier.
Yeah. Go ahead and make the roll.
Oh, you and your macros.
What was that, Naomi? Okay. He looks at you kind of with his head cocked to the side and says, there's a pause and the screen flickers for a second, and the face says, "I'm sorry, sir. One thing our customers can rely on is our discretion. I'll be unable to assist you with this request. Is there anything else I can help you with? On another note, while you may say you are this person's friend, if you were his enemy, you would be asking the same questions, and I would have to give you the same answer."
That's when Nate's going to sort of look over his shoulder again, look right at French and say, "You see, I told this was a waste of time. Let's get out of here."
Frenchie laughs a little bit and just like shakes his hands, like, "What are you gonna do?" And walks out of the Delamain office.
And you walk directly into Bishop and No One, who are walking up on the street. They were reaching out. They're
Any further luck with
One more
the
time.
taxi cab company?
Well, Nate's going to look at them and say, "I think if Frenchie tries doing things unmuted, we might have better luck."
I doubt that.
So with a shoulder shrug, he's going to be like, not really.
So, Delamain is an AI taxi service that mostly deals in luxury vehicles and is very expensive usually. It's one of the pilot programs. Like, it has not been installed yet or has made the way yet to a lot of the larger cities like Night City. So this being that Lumens Nouveau was kind of a new city project, there were a lot of beta projects and prototyping that went into the city, and Delamain is one of those projects.
Where to next?
I don't know. Can our friend Bishop over here, maybe he can pry some information out of the AI? There's got to be server racks somewhere he can look into. Unless anybody has any other leads we want to look to.
I mean, I can try. I mean, he'll definitely, well, yeah, so tell me about the back of this building.
So, the Delamain building is a large garage, essentially. It has, I mean, it's like really any of the auto parts places that have the ability to fix vehicles, except it's also vehicle storage. So it's probably 6 or 7 stories high, but most of them are vehicle storage. And auto repair and testing sites and that kind of stuff. You know that there was a 15 nice. You know that there was a 15% human requirement for the building, where there has to be 15% living bodies as a double check for AI after all of the rogue AI stuff that went down over the last corporate wars and stuff. But you don't see any of those humans here, so they must work somewhere in the facility. Everything else is run by a series of AIs and assistant AIs, and all of that's piped back to a headquarters somewhere else. The building itself is about a block by half a block. So it's a very large building, with several vehicle entrances that you're sure lead to different types of tech areas. Along the back of this building, because you're at the front, you're at one of 3 lobbies.
Mm-hmm.
At the back of the building is a fairly large cyclone fence with razor wire that tops it, where there are a bunch of rusting auto parts and some small rusting vehicles that have been picked apart. You get the feeling that this may be a small storage area for the wrecks that Delamain has to buy from people.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they have a car accident that totals a vehicle, they have to pay off that vehicle and then they drag it here and drones pull it apart to fix the Delamain vehicles. Within that small yard, you can see several doors, windows, and a small what looks like guard post that's like 5 foot by 5 foot, 10 foot by 10 foot. It's pretty small.
Do I see a purse? Okay.
So I know they want to do the hack. They're investigating through computer stuff that isn't hacking. I was wondering if I could take the paperwork route and claim that the person we're looking for is hiding from tax evasion and fill out some paper and try to get as much information. If we can get his location through a legal channel using bureaucracy, maybe he's found a way to get away from his, cable payment or whatever.
You would probably have to have some sort of official looking paperwork or licensing number. If this is an AI that's controlling it, it's going to go by the books. So you'll need some kind of. They'll probably ask for like a PD, LNPD number or something like that with the paperwork. You know that.
Yeah, and if I happen to have a friend that knows a couple accountants that happen to have the kind of numbers, what would I roll for that?
You could roll your specialty check, but it's going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty high. So it's going to be D10 plus 4.
Plus 1.
Plus 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you're looking for some kind of net interface, Bishop.
That's correct, or what the easiest way to breach the perimeter is. So that would probably be like a security.
So give me 2 rolls, please. One is going to be an interface check, and that's to tune your senses into the net links that are out. And then I also need a security roll for you, please.
Right. And my only question there, as I try and figure out how to make this bigger. Hold on one second.
No one. You don't think you know anybody that has the specifics for. I keep looking over at you, but you're here. I can see you. You don't have any contacts that have like badge numbers or anything like that. But you're pretty sure you could get the ball rolling on paperwork from an official source like the city to try to track this person down.
And if anything, I can make a fuss while I'm filling out my paperwork and have 18 copies of the wrong paper and be putting them in the system. And everyone that works there could be really annoyed by me and not be paying attention to what's going on in the back alley.
So you weren't in the lobby, but based on the description of the lobby, it would probably just be a screen with an AI face that's looking at you.
Put enough numbers into an AI face and someone's going to get pissed off. You press 0000000 and someone will come out.
You are free to try. You are absolutely free to try.
Okay, well, let's just assume I'm filling out paperwork and then doing it wrong and then needing help and just
so you go back. You go back around to the front of the building to go into one of the information kiosk lobbies. That's fine.
Okay, so just to be sure, I will be making a fuss, but I do know how to fill this paper out, right? So if for some reason I can get the information I need, I would like to be able to roll for that too. But I am just also trying to keep people busy so they're not paying attention to what's going on. with the fancy computer guys.
You do not see any net net links that are here in the back, this backyard, the scrapyard. But you do see that for all of their kind of high-tech security that they have on the front of the building, the back of the building is locked with chain and a padlock. You should probably note, and I don't know if Frenchie or Nate will offer this up, but they did have automatic turrets inside of their lobby, so that may be something you need to watch out for back here.
Nope, I wouldn't know that because they did not mention that.
Okay.
Well, we didn't have a chance.
Nope.
It just kind of zoomed right through. So I don't think there's any reason we would keep that from them.
But there's no reason. Well, I mean, you said, can you go hack it? And I left to go do that. So I'm not there to tell at this point. So no, I don't know about that.
All right, so we'll
Then
send
Nate
you a
does
message.
it on his agent and sends a text message to everyone.
Yeah, we'll send a text message. Beware
It was
the
really nice knowing you,
the
Bishop.
turrets, auto turrets.
Huh. Do I spot any auto turrets back there? With that roll?
You do not, but if they're hidden as well as the ones in the lobby were,
Alrighty. So I think if I'm not finding any back here, before I actually try and do something dumb or try and break into it, I'd like to walk into the actual one of the one of the lobbies and see if there's any connections in there.
okay, go ahead and make the interface roll.
Yep.
What are Frenchie and Nate doing right now?
Well, I know that there are actual people who work here, right?
Somewhere. There have to be.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this you said this place is like a half a block wide or long or something?
Yeah, it's like half a block wide and a full block. It's half a block deep and a full block wide.
Okay.
And
Well,
like 6 stories tall.
Nate will sort of look at Frenchie as, give him that, what are you going to do kind of look. But his intention would be to, if we are splitting up, to try to find maybe where employees might leave a side entrance to go to, like, I don't know, outside and have lunch or something. Or he wants to be able to find an employee somewhere without having to break into this place.
Go ahead and give me a perception check. Or a... Yeah, give me a perception check. Give me a perception check.
He is looking for humans, so not that he needs a human perception. I get it.
And what about you, Frenchie?
Frenchie is just going to be sitting outside the Delamain lobby. He's going to be leaning against the wall and playing a game on his agent while waiting to see what information the turns up.
Okay. I will circle back to you, Nate. You're in the lobby, or you're... Is that what you said? Frenchie?
I am outside the building, leaning
Okay.
against the wall of the building.
Okay. Bishop, as you enter the lobby, the closest lobby that you were walking by, you see no one who is currently discussing what sounds like bureaucracy with a Delamain AI. You do your scan, but you don't see any net open links within 6 meters of you. You're fairly certain, though, that there wouldn't necessarily be in this lobby, as they want to protect, since this is a prototype of beta, they want to protect their copyright as well as for lawsuits from anybody hacking and messing with their systems. So it's probably somewhere behind in the facility.
Right. So probably my next move will be to go back to the back, make sure that I saw right as far as the best area to breach. I don't think I have. Do I have lockpicks? I think I have lockpicks, but I don't have bolt cutters or anything like that.
What skill would lockpicking be?
I thought it was lockpicking.
Is there a lockpicking skill?
I could be wrong.
Yes, no,
Yeah,
it says
pick
yes.
lock.
Pick lock.
Pick lock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have pick lock.
Alright, so go ahead and make the roll. No one. You are currently discussing how to request information for a criminal, someone that you are looking for because there is a warrant out for this person, and you're
For
available.
identity theft.
Oh,
'Cause that's
identity theft,
legit.
okay. And another. Wow. Okay, that's a good roll, Mark. All right. And you're. Go ahead and give me a bureaucracy roll, please. No one. Bishop, you slip around back and you start fiddling with the lock attached to the chain, and you're only at it for like maybe 3 seconds, and the lock pops open, and like you are completely silent as you pop the lock open.
And then once I cross the threshold of the door, then I'm gonna retake inventory, make sure I didn't miss anything for any security systems, etc. before I try and get further in.
Okay, give me a perception check or a security check, please. Nate, as you are moving around the building, you're moving around to the other side. You see a small side parking lot. As there's only a handful of true humans that work here, only a couple of them are probably going to have vehicles. Everybody else is going to either live close or take public transport. Because you are still in Nation. And you find a small parking lot, and right next to the parking lot is a covered stairwell going up the side of the building. So it's not even on the inside of the building. It looks like a mechanical worm, almost, stapled to the side of this brownstone building at an angle. There is a door blocking entry to this outside stairwell, but it looks like that's probably where the humans go in, and they go into, it looks like maybe the second or the third floor.
So Nate's intention is, unless prompted by the team to do otherwise, to not necessarily break in, but sort of loiter around in an inconspicuous manner, either at a nearby, I don't know, barrel with fire in it, like he's taking a smoke or something. Basically, he wants to be in a place where he might be able to eavesdrop a conversation of employees that may be coming to and fro.
Okay.
And part of it is he knows that his behavior inside the lobby was atypical and may likely be discussed if the AI gives a report to some lady in the office or whatever about what's going on, or some security guy, or basically he wants to see if there's any talk about our guy Linus. With, I can't remember, the Dominguez. Was that the fake name?
So Sil Dominguez was the fake name.
Right. Okay. Basically, he's just being patient with that until something else happens.
Okay. Boom. All right, Bishop. You make your way into the back. You roll security. You still don't see any turrets back here, and you're pretty sure you would. You do, however, spot a camera on the far end of the lot, and it's rotating through about 90 degrees from that fence line towards you and back. And it's rotating slowly and has not made its way to you yet.
Are there any objects between, that I could use to block line of sight between me and it?
There is there's like a small car nearby, or a small regular car nearby you could duck behind. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that, and then I have the following questions that we kind of discussed earlier about whether or not you can use a camera as an access point to the camera system or not.
You cannot.
Okay. Easy answer then. Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Do me a favor, make another interface check.
Yes, sir. 16.
As you roll all that, he's stealing all your 10s. You guys should be upset with him for this. As you make your way closer to the building, you're kind of neural interface is following the trons, and you can see ish a net interface on the other side of the wall that you're next to. So like you can't hack into it because you have to have line of sight, but you can
Right.
tell where it is based on the lines that are coming outside and running across.
And so, is there a door that I can see that I could get into it?
A little ways off, probably 30 feet down the wall is a door. It has a smooth lock, like it's a fire escape
Mm-hmm.
that you would push out. But there is a brick sitting on the ground next to the door, and give me a perception check.
Perception is going to be and 14. 21.
You see just outside that door a bunch of crushed up cigarettes, a couple of empty scod bottles,
Mm-hmm.
scop bottles. It looks like this is a pretty regular area that some people come for a break.
Got it.
So there's got to be some way to get back in, and it looks like they when they come out they block the door to go in, which means it probably doesn't have a really great alarm system.
Okay.
Moving to Frenchie at the front of the building. Give me a human perception check, as a couple people who are waiting inside have gotten frustrated and are leaving. And I will get to you next midnight, just to let you know. And then I'll hit you again, no one.
Oh.
As you are, nice roll, as you are kind of perched, not really, but kind of, near one of the lobbies, Frenchie, you see that there's a group of 3 people, 2 younger people and one that looks enough like them that it must be like an older relative, and they're all grumbling, and you can see that they are very upset, and the older, like grandfatherly person says, I don't know why we even told them that their car crashed into ours. We should just steal that taxi. No one would be the wiser. And dump off its core memory, drive it around ourselves. Hell, I could destroy it, take it apart, or just take it for my own. As they're walking along, it would appear, based on your roll, that they were in a car accident with a Delamain taxi, and the Delamain taxi was damaged enough that it has not yet been brought in. You're on mute if you're saying anything.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was unmuted, so I just muted before I went to talk.
You're very quiet. You're very quiet then.
So Frenchie's going to kind of listen to their grumbles for a moment as they go through that, and then as they kind of walk away, he's going to step off of the wall and kind of call out, "Hey, excuse me. You said you had troubles with the Delamain taxi?" Kind of questioningly to see what they do.
So as you kind of rush up to them, the older one goes, "Oi!" and he pulls the 2 younger ones behind him and says, What do you mean?"
I couldn't help but overhearing. It sounded like you maybe had gotten into an accident with one of the taxis, and we're just trying to figure out what's going on with these taxi service too. It seems like maybe it's not having a good time right now.
Yeah, these Goombas. Yeah, they have no idea what they're doing for taxis. One of them sideswiped my car and then ran into a fire hydrant. It's just still sitting there up on my curb in front of my house. Put 2 feet of concrete into my living room.
Is everybody okay? That sounds ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Water, everything inside. Getting all my magazines. It's crazy.
And they didn't do anything about that for you?
Well, I tried to report it so you can come and pull it out, maybe get some payment to fix up my house. But all they want to say is, we are experiencing high volume of customers. Please take a number. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help my house or my magazines. This gentleman is very, very, very concerned about his magazines.
Well, I don't know. I won't really be able to help out too much with that, but maybe I can investigate maybe what's going on with the Delabane and figure out kind of why or what happened with them. If you wouldn't mind kind of telling me where that vehicle may be located at.
You know what? At this point, son, I don't even care. You can come and get it. I don't care. I just need to get it out of my way. The water. The water's in my house. And he passes you an address that's about
Marvel, come here.
10 to 14 blocks away. Towards the ocean.
Well, thank you, sir. We'll see what me and my friends can do to maybe help you out a little bit here.
Can you
Appreciate
roll me a local expert, please, Anthony?
Marvel, come here.
The address he gave you is well
Get up in your
within
chair.
White Hand territory.
Get up in your chair.
I'm gonna try to pass this information to you guys more often, as it makes a difference. On you.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, that sounds good. Frenchie will, as he bids goodbye to the group, heads back to the lobby. He'll send a message to everybody else through the agent, saying that it sounds like there's a crashed Delamain vehicle at the address about 14 blocks away. May be a little bit easier to access than this secure facility.
Nate will respond and say, "You want help?"
Yeah, I can go investigate and see what's going on over there, but I think having somebody that can actually log into their servers and see what's going on might also help, but the more the merrier.
As midnight is so here's how I picture you. You kind of, it's a small parking lot. You can see there's a kind of a wrecked not wrecked, but just old beat up picnic table with a trash can sitting next to it. Trash can about 3/4 of the way full with a whole bunch of old Vendit wrappers in the parking lot. It looks like this is probably where a bunch of humans come to eat, probably because the facility itself has nothing in the way of facilities for human consumption. As you are kind of hanging out and running your hands over a campfire because it's chilly and it's still the beginning of January, but also humid somehow. You see two people walking out. It looks like they're walking directly towards the parking lot, and they're talking mostly in hushed tones. So if you would please roll me a perception check and a human perception check. Your perception check should also have the +2 because it is you listening in on them.
Yeah, I tried to put it in the macro, but it screwed it up, so I'll just type it.
Just type it. Yeah, you could. Ruh-roh, Shaggy.
I thought for sure I had that exploded already.
No,
Is this your human perception or your normal perception?
This is regular perception.
Okay.
It only explodes
I don't know
up.
why it didn't do that.
Doesn't.
So
it
it'll
doesn't
only explode
down.
up, it doesn't explode down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so 7.
So
So he basically has cotton in his ears and stabbed himself in the eyes.
as you are kind of tuning your cyber audio software into their conversation, a car backfires on the road nearby, and you don't really jump, but it hurts your ears, and you have to kind of take a deep breath and move back while you're still staring at these people trying to pick up their human perception. And that'll do it.
Yep, humanly, he rolls a 21.
Humanly. Watching these two people who are exiting the black covered stairwell, you can see that it's a man and a woman. between 20 and 40. It can be hard to tell sometimes. They look and are dressed in what many would argue is casual wear, and seem to be the type of people you see normally in call centers and that kind of stuff. And they're very frustrated. You can tell by the way that they're carrying themselves and stomping out to their cars. One of them is lighting a cigarette, and you can see, let's say the man is lighting a cigarette, and his hand is shaking, and it takes him a couple tries to light the cigarette. It looks like his hand is shaking because he's so upset. The female seems to be, or the woman, sorry, seems to be trying to talk him down from being so upset. But they are not walking towards you, they're walking towards the other end of the small parking lot. And they don't
Well,
even seem to have noticed you yet.
good. Nate is going to wait for them to get a good distance away, but then follow them inconspicuously. As a lover of bag lady chic bottoms, he knows what casual wear is all about. He will then send a message to the group that he will meet Frenchie at said location that he provided soon. But he's basically going to just kind of follow these people a little bit just to see if he can pick up on whatever's going on. Hopefully, no more vehicles will backfire and destroy his tympanic membranes.
All right. Okay, so that's you. We'll go back to Bishop.
Okay, I have two sets of questions.
Yes, sir.
First is a clarification of the theater of the mind. The wall that we are referencing, is it the wall behind me, or is it the wall in front of me where the camera is mounted?
Okay, you were standing on the road.
Right?
When you're standing on the road facing the long wall of the back of the building to
Right?
your left,
Right.
slightly. Like it comes away from you, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm standing at the corner of the building, back corner of the building. The wall goes this way, the fence goes this way,
Yeah.
across me,
Right?
and there's a gate there right next to the wall.
And I
You
popped the gate.
you pop the gate, and then I'm assuming you put the chain back and the lock back so it looked like it.
Correct.
And then you moved along it. You saw a camera moving towards you and ducked behind a nearby small kind of wreck.
Yes.
And then about 30 feet from where you're standing along that same wall is a door that would come outside from the first floor of the building. And that's where you saw it. The building is like, from where you're standing, is like a full block long.
Right. Right.
It's actually several buildings that have been San Francisco'd into one building.
Got it. So then I'm assuming the camera is then to my right.
The camera is straight ahead of you by a lot.
Okay.
It's almost halfway down the building, rotating.
Okay. So the short
about
answer
10 feet up.
The short answer is I want to wait for the camera to get at its maximum arc away from the door, and then I'm going to slide up to the door and I'm going to attempt to open it, but I need a little more information about the door itself. I know it's a flush door, but the question that I have is there a gap on one side or the other? I mean, I know where the brick is, so I have a good idea of what way it opens out, because the brick would be by the part that opens. But the question is there a gap? And did somebody
From where you're looking, because it's about 30 feet away, you don't see any gaps.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do, and if I have to change midway, that's fine, but I'd rather state it. So Bishop is going to wait for the camera to get the farthest arc away. He'll slide up to the door, and in his pack, he has, as part of his thieves toolkit, a couple wires and a magnet. And what he's going to do is, these wires have exposed ends, and if there is a gap, he is going to insert them at the top of the door and then pull enough to let them fall to the ground, and then use the magnet to move left or right to get the exposed wires to come through, and then he'll pull to release the lock. If it has a gap. If it doesn't have a gap, then we'll regroup. But that's the plan.
Nice roll.
As you rush up to the door, you start feeling around for a gap, and your heart starts to drop, and then you feel a small piece of you feel like at the top corner, a small piece of what looks like the metal has been bent, almost like somebody was trying to get a crowbar in there at some point. But it's so small and so high up that they didn't think about fixing it, and so it's just big enough to fit your pieces of equipment through.
Okay.
Um,
So then
1 second.
I assume I will need another lockpicking roll.
You will, yeah. Okay. You hear like it takes a little bit, and the camera is almost coming back your direction when you feel a soft click, and the door pops open about half an inch.
Okay. I'll quickly pry it open just far enough to see that there's nobody on the other side.
There's a solo with a Gatling gun. No, you're fine.
So then I will quickly slip inside and let the door close almost all the way behind me. I will catch it at the very last couple millimeters.
In a cinematic fashion, the door slowly, almost completely goes flush as the camera turns over that area and then goes back. You find yourself in a small. It's almost like a mud room. So it's just like a small room that has a couple coats hanging up and what looks like an umbrella, and people obviously hand off, like put some of their personal belongings here for when they go out for breaks and stuff, is what it looks like. Past this, there's another door with a glass window that has the inlaid grid wire, and you can see there are people moving around in that next room. So you ducked out of the way really fast, but you saw maybe 2 people. You're not entirely sure. It was just for a split second as you dodged out of the way. And we're gonna go to Frenchie. Oh, actually, because Frenchie and Nate are on the same path a little bit. You follow. Midnight follows the couple for a little, maybe 100 feet. Close enough for 100 feet, but close enough that you can start picking up on what they're saying. And you hear that it sounds like they are, in fact, customer support. And he was just given a low marks, whatever that means, for his call volume. And it is just ready to call it quits. He doesn't even care anymore. And it sounds like she cares for him, but it's one of those situations where he doesn't know it or doesn't realize it, apparently. And she's trying to keep him from quitting, is what it sounds like.
Nate will consider it possible minutia and just kind of keep it in the back burner.
Okay. Are you continuing to follow?
At this point, it almost seems like a red herring, so he'll probably start to hoof it toward Frenchie.
Okay. So we're going to no one. No one, you rolled a 15 on your bureaucracy. Give me 1 second. 10 plus 2. Oh, wow. It seems that this secretary agent software AI, secretary AI, Delamain was not programmed to deal with the sometimes random but actually
Button
factual
mashing.
bureaucratic information that no one possesses. Syntax must be correct. And actually gets a 1 for the overall bureaucracy roll. And
Marvel, come here.
It's a new system. They
You
don't know
see
how
it
to do
start
anything.
to halt and shudder as it's trying to understand all of the rules that you're giving it, because it's double checking your information
Marvel,
against the
come here.
posted government garden patch rule set. It's trying to keep up with you, bureaucratically speaking, and not doing a very good job.
Marvel, come here.
I'm gonna beat it with bureaucracy and paperwork.
Because you're a Vogon.
If it works, it works.
Are you guys getting any feedback when she talks with me with this headset?
Negative.
Not that
Okay.
I've
No.
noticed.
Then that may be the win. Alright, you're there, you're there, you're there. Frenchie, did you have anything before Nate catches up with you?
Marvel, come here.
Frenchie's gonna go over to the vending machine and grab 2 of the easy beef burrito double XLs.
Okay.
One for him and one for midnight while waiting to see what everybody else is doing.
Just
Nice
as a
choice.
question, are you going to drop the extra 2 eddies for 2 packets of Captain Caliente's flavor sauce? Remember,
Absolutely.
kids, Captain Caliente, fly with flavor.
100%. I gotta try that new flavor.
I thought it was sale with flavor.
It is sail with flavor. It's also fly with flavor. It depends on what flavor. The bald eagle flavor is in this season.
Bald eagle. I'm not gonna.
Bald
Are there
eagle
even-
flavor.
Are there even bald eagles left?
No, they're cloned and then juiced.
Wait. Say bald eagle flavor?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Okay, I was busy sighing when you said
Because-
that. So I missed it.
Because it's the flavor of freedom.
Ah, that's quite disturbing.
So fresh, it wriggles in your mouth.
Ah.
Okay, so anyway, you have 2 pre-packed burritos now with the extra Captain Caliente sauce, and they're obviously the type where you push a button and it heats itself. Captain Caliente sauces are the same way. Hold the button, heats itself. And so is that what you have your vending machine meals, and then you're gonna wait for Nate?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll have a burrito for me, and I'll be ready to hand him the burrito when he gets in, when he gets
Okay.
over here.
You pop around the corner midnight to see Frenchie chowing down, sitting up against what looks like it used to be a parked car maybe 6 months ago, and now it's a collection of bugs and dust and broken glass.
What time is it, by the way?
It is, we'll say like 11 in the morning.
AM?
Yeah.
Okay. I missed that before because for some reason I thought it was night again, but
When
that's okay.
when Frenchie showed up here, it was still pretty early morning. But you guys have been kind of dealing with different
We'll
things.
call it lunchtime.
Yeah, it's about lunchtime.
Well, in that case, it's good that he got the burritos.
Yep. So, what do you guys gonna park it and eat, or eat on the way?
Well, he's gonna walk up and say, "One of those better be for me."
Frenchie just offers one of the 2 burritos over and says, "Of course, would I let you down?" And here's that Captain Caliente sauce we've been hearing about. Good to try that out.
He's already done.
And then he squirts the Captain Caliente sauce right in his mouth.
I don't think in this or any other lifetime.
Not unless it's a smoothie. Okay, so what do you guys
Wrong
do?
character. This is not a Persona character. Oh, well, Nate's gonna just kind of like, point at the car. Like, are we here actually, or is there more?
So I assume we are in the parking lot still of the Delabane facility, sitting on the old wreck of the car. So Frenchie's just sitting on the trunk, eating the burrito.
I picture you kind of like leaning against the burnt out hulk of just like a car in the parking lot. Yeah.
But are you doing it cool?
Absolutely. Is there any
Okay.
other way to do it?
Okay, that's what I'm worried about. As long as you're doing it cool
Style is everything.
and wardrobe.
Priorities.
So we're still 10 blocks away, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Basically, Nate's gonna have this like ready when you are. Look on his face.
Well, it's, if we're 10, 14 blocks away, that's still a good couple miles. So I don't know if should we wait for the other two?
Nah.
Cool. All right. In that case, let's head on out.
They're busy hacking and slashing.
Hacking and slashing, getting that meat.
Am I doing
okay.
the slashing?
Bishop, you are standing on one side of a busy room, like the door separating you.
Yep. Are there lockers or trash cans or any other container in here?
Sure.
Okay. If
So
there's...
keep in mind, it's not a large room. It's probably the size of your kitchen in San Francisco.
Right.
So it's a room that you would walk through. But we'll say there's like a small trash can and maybe cubby lockers, not like full size lockers.
Okay. Well, are there cameras?
No.
Okay. And this is where the access point was?
Behind you is the door you just came in, the fire door.
Right.
In front of you is the door that has the window with the glass.
Mm-hmm.
And on the sides of you are people's personal belongings and boxes and stuff like that.
Yes, but you had said the access point was on the other side of the wall.
Oh, the other side of the wall, like 30 feet.
Oh, so it's probably in the room with the people.
It's probably in the room with the people, yeah.
I'm still pressing 0 and putting in random numbers of code that I swear I remember because I'm really good at bureaucracy, apparently.
Okay. Hold on. 1 second.
Unless you object, I'm going to slash me on my messages to the group.
Slash me?
Yeah, that's how the different tech color comes up.
Oh, cool. Oh, so that everybody knows that's a message? That's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, that way it's consistent that we always know that those are our group messages.
Yep.
I'm going to change my face. And once I change my face, then I am going to... I'm just going to walk up to the... I get that it's glass. I assume there's some kind of door to move into that area, right?
Are you on the new map?
Oh, no.
It's a nice map.
Yes, I see it. I see it.
So that pink one is the door. Hold on 1 second. Draw a shape. This is the room you were just in. So there's another door back here.
Mm-hmm.
And then that really hard line is the wall. And so if the access point is where you felt it would be someplace like over here.
I'm not seeing the over here part.
Zoom out.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little square over here.
Over here. Okay, got it.
Almost everything I do is going to be neon pink, so it's in theme.
Yep. Okay. So.
And then let me toss some people in there.
So then a question I would have is something that I probably would know, but what's a local kind of famous security company? Like, we all know ADT, so I'm sure there's some kind of Lumens Nouveau synonym.
Okay, 1 second.
Sure.
Securitech.
I'm actually in the living document. Let me see if we have anything up. We don't. So you said Securitech? Is that what you said, Anthony?
Yep, just made that up though. So if there's
Securitech. security firm like ADT. Cool.
Okay, so I have changed my face, and then I will walk right in the door, and I will say, "Well, that's some bad news for you guys," and I will say, Securitech Inspector, you guys have already failed on 3 counts, and let me tell you, these fines are racking up real quick."
The guy standing over here in the corner
Mm-hmm.
says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, what?"
I was paid to do a intrusion exercise, and I was able to walk right in the back door, folks.
Paid by who? And who are you with?
Uh, it's all done through anonymous sources so that our results are not tainted, but I basically work for Securitech through contract. And like I said, I'm standing here. None of you saw me come in. None of you saw me get access anything. You've already got 3 major infractions, and I haven't even inspected the rest of the facility.
Well, I only have one thing to say, and that's, can I see some ID? Because you're right, you snuck in here. We've had that problem before. We can't watch all the doors with this few people, but I'm surprised you haven't gotten shot yet. And he puts a finger up to his ear, and you can see he's transferring some kind of information. And then you hear what sounds like a alarm klaxon further into the building. But the doors haven't locked and turrets haven't dropped.
Sure. Well, let's see if I can.
Nice creepy Sims face, by the way.
You're welcome.
In all of the darkness of your room, it looks like you have a floating Max Headroom head.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at one thing. Give me 1 second. So, I mean, would I be able to? Yeah, I'm seeing the flaw in
No
this
one, can you
plan.
make another bureaucracy check for me while we're waiting? What would you like to try, Bishop?
I
This guy,
Like-
why don't you roll human perception for me? Roll human perception.
Yep, will do.
And Frenchie and Nate, you said you were not waiting for these two, right?
Correct. Who knows how
Okay.
long they're going to be?
So I'm just going to assume that you are traveling.
We're walking and we're walking.
Awesome.
10. All right, 10 is what that is.
So I didn't roll so great, but luckily I have the points out.
Oh, son of a.
So
4.
you were not expecting somebody to puff up when you came rolling in here, and it's throwing you off your game a little bit. You're not entirely sure if he is as confident as he seems to be, but you do note that the other 3 people in this room are quiet and they're sitting very still, almost like this place might have been robbed recently and they're afraid that you are going to kill them.
Got it. So
You also note there are blood stains on the floors that look like they have been tried to be cleaned up, but do you always see that level in the tile lines,
right.
molding?
So I'm going to
Grout, thank you.
I'm going to hastily try and forge a basically an electronic ID saying I'm secure tech and pass it over
Are you
to
just
their
gonna
agent.
pull one out of your ass or something?
Oh no, a digital one. Not all IDs are physical.
Psychic paper?
Yeah, psychic paper.
Psychic.
I mean, it would be forgery, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I basically type a bunch of stuff on my agent and then. Oh, whoops. Oh, come on. 1 to 10, exclamation point, plus 8. 10. We'll see. Yep.
Were you really just typing into your agent right now, trying to make us? I don't think he is who he says he is. I think you guys are fine. And you can see all at once, like the rest of the people in the room breathe out heavily. And he says, "Okay, seriously, we don't want any trouble. What are you here for?"
I'm not joking. I am actually here. I've been contracted to do an incursion exercise. I don't know why I was contracted, but I was. And seriously, look at this door, and I will point. I will open the door that I just came through, and I will point to the top right, where I was able, or the area where I was able to get the wires through.
So that's on the other door.
It's not on this door?
It's on this door. You're here.
Right. I'm opening this door with like one hand and motioning to this guy through the other one, pointing in the general direction of. I said, "Do you see that divot? It's like someone used a crowbar here."
So why did you use a crowbar to open that door?
I did. I show my hands. I do not have a crowbar.
Just because you don't have a crowbar on you doesn't mean you didn't use one there, champ. Secondly, you don't have any ID. If you were actually part of an incursion, you'd have ID for your company, right? More than this obviously drummed up ID that you just handed me. All I'm asking is why you're here. That's it. You can be honest with us. It's the higher ups you gotta watch out for.
Look, I'll tell you the real reason I'm here. I have a friend. He's gone missing. Last time he was seen was in Delamain. And I know that there's a lot of stuff that they treat you guys pretty badly around here because you're the only humans. And everything else is done by the machines.
He says, I'm telling you what, friend. Nothing bad ever happens in the Delamains. These are luxury vehicles. But you know what? Come with me. We're going to go sit in the security office for a little bit while we wait for somebody to pick you up. And then he turns back to the other people and says, get back to work. And starts walking off in this direction.
Great. Then I'm headed out the back door. Back the way I came.
He as you turn around, he stops and shakes his head. And then slowly walks back to where he was sitting in this chair. Roll me another human perception before you take off completely.
Yep.
You get the feeling before you take off completely and before he walks back to his chair, he's not actually going to call anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way he's holding himself, he wants you out of this room.
Got it.
If you still want to take off, you can easily take off. I'm not going to stop you. But I just want you to get the full picture of what was happening.
But there's no way to see this access point from the room that I was in.
Correct. There's like a wall and then a small office just beyond this wall. And he was taking you to that office.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Maybe I misunderstood. He was taking me to somewhere where I could see this access point?
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably not with the purpose of taking you to the access point. but he was separating you from this group, and it seemed like he was doing it for a reason.
Okay, sure. I'll go with. Can I retcon that and just go with
Yeah.
him? Yeah, I'll go with him.
All right. So, first of all, I'll say hi, Billy slash Hector. How you doing, man?
Hey, evening. Glad to be here. A little bit late, but better late than never.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. I'm doing things in kind of a round robin because we've got a couple of different groups in a couple of different places. But I did catch the viewers up on and the rest of the party up on kind of the direction you were heading to Dave's drilling. Dave's drilling, and I will loop back to you when you're good to go.
Okay, I am happy to sit in and listen in. I might be about 30 minutes before I have everything set up so that I can access my character sheet and everything else, rulebook, etc. That
Okay.
said, I'm happy to play by voice until then as well.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Bishop, he takes you to a back room, or he takes you to what looks like an office. Like he was sitting out here having a conversation, maybe, and it looks like this is his office. It's a small, I wouldn't even say an assistant manager. It's like a small desk, a small chair, a couple of small, nearly disposable chairs that were probably reclaimed from something sitting across from the desk. He does have a small fake window that normally, if it was a real window, it would look out on the auto yard that you were just standing in, but it is. It's almost like the window from Back to the Future 2, where they pull down a shade and it's got projections, and it's flickering between what looks like a 1930s Chicago and the forest. And it wasn't made to flicker like that, it's just broken. And he sits down, he offers you a chair across from his desk, and then sits down at his desk and says, "Look, I think I know why you're here." And we're going to cut back to no one who is up front bureaucrating their way into hopefully some information. After you have been filling out all of the documentation, much of it which has to be printed off by the Delamain receptionist, the AI receptionist, they say, it we discretion is our number. You seem to have all of your paperwork in order. I I I I can't give you that I can't give you that information, and you can hear people in other lobbies nearby starting to get frustrated with how their Delamain assistant program is acting.
0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0.
Okay. So that's you, Frenchie and Midnight. You arrive outside of what looks like a small motel turned into apartments. It is like one story, and many of them look completely run down. There's a bunch of old cars and motorcycles that are rusting away in the slightly taller grass. But you know that the weather here is not great. It's humid and it's not great for vehicles that already have a little bit of rust.
Are there people around the apartments?
I like that. I'm gonna steal that. There are 1 to 10 people kind of milling around because it is the middle of the day around the apartments. But as you're walking up, you do see a fairly large 7 people, a fairly large black sedan that is up on the curb, pinning a. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like you guys know the egg cars, the really really small electric cars. that really only they're really only good for like 1.5 people for 15 miles. That seems to be the car that this older man was talking about, as it has been pinned and nearly crushed to the side of one of the apartments. It did, in fact, wedge itself between the smart car and a fire hydrant, which is now off, but the whole area is soaked. And about 2 feet by 6 feet of concrete and wall has been crushed in. You can't quite see into the guy's apartment, but you can definitely see where water has gotten in.
Are there inappropriate magazines strewn about?
You don't see any inappropriate magazines, but you do see a handful of magazines laying out on the sidewalk that may have fallen out of the apartment. How many magazines he must have for that to happen, you're not sure. But they seem to be sailing magazines. These ones, anyway.
So is this guy a magazine collector?
Definitely seems to have some sort of treasure hoard. Frenchie kind of walk around to the Delamain car, or he assumes it's the Delamain car, the black sedan. They just do one quick walk around the entire vehicle just to see what he sees before investigating closer.
Give me a perception check, please. And one for you too, Nate, please. Nice. It wasn't the difficulty wasn't very difficult. As you guys are walking around both the smart car, the Delamain vehicle, you see that it looks like the hydrant really wrecked up the front bumper, the left side tire well. You might be able to get it rolling off of the hydrant if you were able to get it up off of the hydrant. It's like the car came up and landed on the hydrant with the hydrant inside the wheel well.
So you're saying it's possible to move the car?
Maybe.
Okay.
It would
the
take
egg car you're
something
talking about, right?
Huh?
It's the egg car you're talking about?
So you would have to move the egg car in order to get the Delamain vehicle off of the hydrant.
Okay, it's the Delane vehicle that's on the hydrant. I just want to make sure I knew which vehicle we were talking
the
about.
Delamain vehicle is currently pinched, kind of, between... Okay, so it goes apartment wall, crushed egg car, Delamain taxi, hydrant.
Well, the idea of we moving this car is somewhat ludicrous. Obviously, one of these 1d10, which equals 7 people, is a really strong dude, right? That we could like summon over here and get him to help us.
You see, as you're looking through, you see one guy that has like one arm that's gigantic, like not size appropriate for him at all, and it doesn't look cybernetic. It looks like an actual arm taken off of Arnold Schwarzenegger and put on
like Quagmire coming outside after he's been watching internet porn.
Yeah.
Or the lady in the water guy.
Or Lady in the Water guy, exactly. But you don't think that he's strong enough to actually lift the car. Anyway, as you were walking around, that's what you see, and you also note that the hydrant, when spraying, flooded almost all of the Delamain compartments, and it doesn't look like there's any electronics in there right now at all. Are either of you techie?
Frenchie's got basic tech.
Can I get a basic tech roll?
I'd say, yeah, basically, but not much.
Make the attempt.
Right, Frenchie did his roll?
Yep. 6 plus 8?
6 skill ranks plus 8 tech skill.
Okay.
I think that Nate is going to look at the hydrant and say, "That's a hydrant."
Nice.
Water. H2O.
As you are looking through, Frenchie, you remember one of the times that your AVE Bulldog, like one of your guys' flying aerial vehicles, had kind of a similar issue where it got waterlogged and damaged. You were able to jump part of its electrical system, so at least you could pull data off of it.
Okay.
You don't know. You don't think you'll be able to restart it, and if you did, you're not sure you'd want to have to talk to the Delamain AI that must be inside this
Yeah, I don't
vehicle.
think I don't think restarting it is the idea of what we're going with. We just
Yeah.
need to get the data off the vehicle.
Yep.
So I'll relay. Frenchie is going to relay to Nate that the technical know-hows of we need to set this switch to this cycle and cut this cord and attach that wire and so on to be able to jumpstart enough to get the data.
As you are telling Nate this, we cut to no one smiling slightly as they are looking at the fritzing Delamain agent. Can you please roll me a bureaucracy, please? The Delamain agent shuts down. The screen goes black. The lights flicker overhead. It seems that your bureaucratic prowess was no match for a simplified AI assistant.
If you press 0 enough times, you get it.
Bishop, you get the real person. Bishop, you are sitting in a small office with a fake window across from what looks like some kind of security guy. You note now that the uniform he's wearing kind of points to him probably being security for the building. And as you're able to get so far inside and could have killed everyone, he's obviously not working with a very large budget. Um, you you can see the net interface behind him, but he says we've been experiencing some problems with our Delamain vehicles, but we can't tell anyone. People are sometimes going missing or getting dropped off at the wrong spots. I'm not sure what to do with the information. I'm getting paid and I need the money. You know, we all do. But this is yeah, I'm not sure what happened to your friend if your friend went missing.
Well, it's not just that, but you've got a crushed car 10 blocks away that just jumped the curb, crushed another car, and slammed it into a house or into a crate house. So I can take a look. I promise I won't hurt anything, but I can see if I can figure out what's going on.
Okay.
And I'll pull my glasses down and try to interface in with the access point.
He'll pass you some actually roll persuasion.
Oh, okay. Yep. Uh-oh. I have it. I just don't know where my character sheet is. There we go. There we go. Persuasion. $14. $21.
As you are kind of talking to him about how you can look into it, he thanks you and passes you the what seem like disposable passwords for logins for the system.
Nice. And then I will attempt to interface with the access point with a 7.
Yay! No. Wait, oh, is that first one your interface?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You plug in, and the system flows past you, and you find yourself in a room very similar to the room you just left. Like, it has all the same furniture, but the people aren't standing there. And you're essentially standing just inside this door,
Mm-hmm.
looking at the room around you. So give me 1 second. You find yourself in the first room. You find there's a couple tables, like a couple desks and some chairs, and there is a room that says records. Like there's a door above that says records, and there's a door that has a Delamain logo lock, password lock on the front of it, and another door next to it that says net architecture, and also has a Delamain lock over it.
So, first action, second action, third action. First action will be Pathfinder. Second action will be to head to records, and third action is to enter the passcode for records if I need one.
Okay, so you do have to enter the password for records. Essentially, lets you get in without it's still an action, but you
Right.
don't have to. Yeah,
Right.
and you move into the records room. And I am going to. Was that you? Using password, moving the records. That's one.
That's
one.
Oh,
Movement is free. Pathfinder. You did Pathfinder.
Pathfinder. Yeah.
Okay, so there are.
No, and I again, the third action would be to activate Speedy Gonzalez.
Okay, there are 11 rooms of varying pathways inside this net architecture.
Okay.
As you enter the records room, you see that it is filled with what look like filing cabinets. And each of the filing cabinets is labeled, and inside of it has files. And it looks like they are all of the rides and registrations and everything for the vehicles that they have.
Great. And you said that it was record. The three doors were records. What and what?
Just records and net architecture.
Net architecture. Okay.
And you went into the records room.
Yes. So use the password. Pathfinder, and then the third one is activate Speedy Gonzalez, and that's my turn.
Yep. Okay. As Nate is looking around kind of the wreck, you can see that the egg car, the smart car, it will not be able to be driven again, definitely. It was fairly crushed into the side of this apartment. As you're peeking in, a face meets you on the other side, and it's the face of an elderly gentleman, must be the guy that Frenchie talked to earlier, and he says, "Hey, mind your own business." As he's saying that, you can see that he has stacks and stacks of old newspapers and magazines and paper, what looks like maybe paper or plastic bags, some old antique soda cans, that kind of stuff, stacked up high behind him.
Okay. Nate will just shrug it off and go tell Frenchie what he found.
Frenchie just nods and continues working under the hood of the Delamain sedan to attempt to get just the right amount of power to be able to pull the data without actually awakening the AI. It's a little bit more complicated than we thought it would be.
Did you roll another basic tech, Frenchie? The last one was identifying the problem. This one will be... Oh, you did. Okay. Yeah, you're fairly certain that if you take the battery out of the smart car, maybe, if you're able to, well, actually, with that roll, you can. You're able to pull the battery from that and get this system running enough that you can pull data off of it. With that roll.
Nate was about to offer him duct tape. as a tool for aid, but I guess he doesn't need it. Well, actually, I realized I have something called Tech Tool, but I didn't read that item again to find out what it includes.
It means you're technically a tool.
So Frenchie's going to attempt to use the
Indeed.
duct tape in such a way that it neither helps nor hurts, but it makes Midnight feel like he did something. Like, thanks for the duct tape, as he puts a random spot of duct tape randomly on a random part.
If you
Just what I
want
needed.
to, if you want to roll human perception, Nate, you can, but you might want to just take it for what it is, as a nice motion, a nice movement, and
You know, I think Nate has learned to trust Frenchie after all these insert time intervals. And as long as he doesn't waste all the duct tape, you know, because that's an important part of any character sheet.
He starts wrapping up the Delamain's vehicle.
It's like, no, Frenchie, please. Don't waste it, brother.
No, he uses it to kind of cover one of the battery cables on the Delamain vehicle that seems a little fritzy anyway. But you're able to get what looks like the last updated information, and it's strange. One of the things that makes Delamain vehicles so interesting is that they all run off of almost a networked system, but not really, because there aren't really networked systems. But it updates for traffic conditions to allow for smoother and quicker rides, which means it has a record of where the majority of the vehicles went if you knew what the vehicle ID was that you needed.
So Frenchie will hook his agent up into the database, and he's just going to start downloading all of the data, because he doesn't know what data is important or not, and let the net runners have some fun trying to decipher and de-encrypt all of this data.
Can you roll me a D100, please?
That's a low roll.
You're able to only fit about 18% of the data from this vehicle on one mem chip.
Is the hard drive equivalent of this vehicle easily detachable and portable?
So it's relatively, it's large and heavy, but it is portable. It is not easily detachable. But you're essentially pulling its black box.
I think Nate would notice the change in Frenchie's demeanor, and he would hand him the duct tape back and say, I think you need more.
Thanks. That's just what I needed.
Just don't use more than 18% of this.
I don't know. I think I might need a solid 82% at the rate this is going.
Actually, he does have some memory chips, some spare memory chips, if Frenchie really wants to get every single kiloquad or whatever of data.
The problem is, I don't know which data is the important data. So there's a 18% chance that I got the data that we needed, and that's not a large enough chance that I'm willing to take. So while this is not going to be easy, and I could definitely use the help, I need to detach that part right there from its housing, and then we can take that to either Hector or Bishop to look through.
Right, but he holds out 5 memory chips. Like, isn't this enough?
Right.
Yes, that's exactly enough. One memory chip will hold all of this data. I see no GM to tell me no, so.
Each memory chip will only hold 18%.
Right, we have 6 total memory chips. Because you have 1, I have 5. 6 times 18 is greater than 100.
Then let's do that.
He hands them to you. That's what I mean. We don't have to go the hard route. We can just use what we have.
Okay, so Frenchie's going to start trying to download, cut and paste 18% of the data per memory chip.
And then you can use the duct tape to bind all the memory chips together.
Exactly.
Bingo. Bonus XP right there.
Exactly.
I'm not sure what I hate more. The fact that you guys are trying to apply what I think is game logic versus game breaking logic.
I just use the MacGyver rule anytime I play a game. If you don't know what to do, use duct tape. It's gonna do something.
Yes, it will. It will do something. Frustrate your GM, probably. No, you're good. With the extra 6 or extra 5 memory chips, you're able to bring down the rest of the
Download the rest of the data, but
download
who
the rest of
knows?
the data.
Who knows how long that's gonna take?
You will not. It's going to take a while, but it's going to take a long while. But you do not have the capability with your agents to put it back together. I can tell you that. You're going to need a computer that can look at all 6 mem chips to bring it back together. This isn't a 6 floppy disks of a program that you put in one at a time and pull it off. You're breaking up the data. In order to put the data back together, you're going to need a computer.
So we need to get a computer with 6 USB ports.
Yes.
Okay.
But I have a Hector and a Bishop, so I figure between the two of them, they can figure that part out.
Speaking
That's
of
like
Hector,
finding like random car parts and say I have a mechanic. I'm sure they can figure it out.
It
They
worked
can,
for the
can't
duct
they?
tape.
yeah, I mean, any mechanic worth their salt can put a puzzle piece together with another one and make a puzzle.
And if it doesn't work, it's their fault.
There's something so wrong with you.
When you say you, I think you mean Frenchie, but I understand.
I mean all of you.
Y'all. Something wrong with y'all.
I mean y'all.
That's why you invite us to your games.
It's a good question.
Because he's alive.
Very good
So
question.
now that we have the data upon 6 18%ers,
Yeah, but that's still going to take a while.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, no one. You are standing in a darkened room because all the lights went out.
Oh, yeah, I broke it. Haha. Oops.
The
Explain
couple
so many
people, the
things.
handful of people that were waiting here with you have left.
I need to speak to a representative.
You're saying that out loud?
Yeah, I need to speak to a representative. Their stuff's broke.
You hear a
Did I accidentally
soft
hack it?
fan, like somewhere in the room, but there's no sound at all from the room itself. You hear cars moving by on the street, and you hear some kind of mechanic stuff happening above your head in the building above you. But you see, you can barely see in here because it's dark, and you don't hear really anything in the room now.
Okay, while I was in there doing my paperwork, is there any entrance or exit from the back that a employee would need to take? Did I see that at all? Do I need to roll perception?
Yeah. These new machines are so cute sounding. Well, let me show you that. You tried pressing up? It could also be your laptop. It's going to be in the top left of your skills. So this is what got printed today. It's kind of hard to see.
Oh, nice. Eiffel Tower. It's an Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. That was the resin print for today.
Nice.
The first test. It took 20 hours to print. But it's pretty and it's hollow and it had no supports, so it's pretty neat. Okay, you did note a small, nearly invisible doorway back behind the screen that was hanging from the ceiling.
Okay, so I have my agent, which should have a flashlight on it, like any phone.
Yeah.
And I use that to find the door.
Okay.
And it's nearly invisible, but I'm gonna
It's
knock on it. I'm gonna be like pressing buttons or like.
it's like one of those magnetized cabinet doors where you just push on it and it opens.
Okay, so I'm gonna head back and be like, "Can I get some help here?"
The hallway behind the door, also dark.
Well, keep calling out for people in customer service, and that their stuff's broken if they haven't noticed. It's all dark in here, and this is some like really poor computer work. I was just trying to file some E97452-38 forms to try to find an identity thief, and it's gonna start spouting random shit as I'm trying to find people.
Three people that were in their offices down the hallway fall into the hallway dead out of boredom from you listing off the.
Well, that was easy.
That was
I
half
didn't
their
even need a
employee.
gun.
That's half the staff.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
Okay, Bishop. You are in the files room. Well, you're in the records room in the net architecture.
Right. So he's going to pour through the records, searching for transaction with Sil Dominguez. And I roll a library search roll for that.
Perfect.
If that's not the right one, let
Nope.
me know.
That's perfect. I wasn't sure which one I was going to have you roll, and library works because you're using those skills. It takes you a little bit of Schrodinger time to find that file folder, but you are able to find that he wrote his transaction was transaction ID with vehicle. What are you doing? Okay, you're able to find that the transaction ID for that person on the day in question was 445834 RAS with vehicle, and then it says, and it also has an incident cleaning ID that had to be charged to the same account for there being a excessive amount of blood in the vehicle. Blood and vomit. Not excessive amount of vomit, just a little bit of vomit.
And does it have a pickup and drop off?
It has what looks like an encoded location, as if the vehicles in Lumens Nouveau use some kind of specialized satellite navigation system.
So for my second action, can I attempt to use where is it? Cryptography to decode it.
So you can try, but you are a smart individual, and if you could get your hands on, say, a mass amount or a grouping of the information, the data from one of the vehicles, you'd be able to piece it together much more easily. But go ahead and make the roll.
Okay. First, I use my second action to send a message, and then third action will be to do this.
His first and last name is Bishop.
That is.
Well, that's because he's a Pokemon.
That's right. Of the bishop type.
Bishop.
1d10 plus plus 10. 17.
Okay. You are not able. I mean, you're able to kind of narrow it down to the city to the eastern side of the city, but that's as far as you're able to kind of break it down. So, cutting, is that your third?
That
Is
was
that your
my
second?
third. That was
Okay.
my third.
Cutting over to Nate and Frenchie, you receive the above message. Sends a message, Sil Dominguez transaction ID, blah, 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 with vehicle, blah, 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 incident, cleaning ID, and then you get that message, right? And you're able to cross-reference that data within the, like, third chip as you're pulling the information down. So you couldn't have, in order to do it without the transaction or vehicle number, you would have had to have a computer with 6 USB drives, right? But because you have the specific information now, you can look in that section of
So you're,
information.
so you're saying chip 3 has the data.
Chip 3 has the, what looks like maybe a drop-off point, since Frenchie already knows the pickup point.
Well, there you go.
Yep. So Frenchie will wrap the mem chip that has the data in duct tape, so we know which mem chip is the important one.
Yeah.
And swallows it to make sure you guys have it safe.
Yeah, gotta keep it safe.
So what remaining percentage of duct tape do I have? I need to know this.
You have about 1/4 of a roll left.
Oof.
No.
Somebody's going shopping. I'm surprised you didn't roll a 1D 100 and get an 18.
You guys are so silly. Yeah. So that's you. Yeah, I'm assuming he didn't actually use a whole bunch of duct tape for it. But I need a new glove. But you're able to see the drop-off point, which is a converted house or an old house down by the docks at Imnation Docks.
She'll take out his agent after reading through the data, and he is typing the message to send to the rest of the group. Was there a date associated?
The date that I can't remember what date I gave you for him needing to go to the hospital.
I think it was just November.
Only date I have solid is October 3rd when he arrived at M Nation. I don't have any other dates.
Yeah, no, I think November is as far as we got.
Is it?
Okay, so I have a quick question. I'm in the same building. Did I crash the system that Bishop is in?
No.
Okay, but I know Bishop should be in the building.
Yes.
Right? That is who I am looking for. While calling out for anybody that works here.
So
as
you start to make your way back to the back, you see a fairly large open room. There's a couple of people sitting at computers that immediately stand up and they say, "Oh, how can I help you?" Like they're confused as to why you're back here.
Your computer's broken.
That's
like all of them.
That's impossible. And they start to type in the computers in front of them and they go, "Oh, the network's down."
Super weird. I have no idea how that happened. I was just trying to fill out some paperwork. Simple paperwork. It really wasn't that complicated. All of a sudden, it just crashed. Like, what kind of system are you guys running here?
Well, it should be top of the line. We've never had this problem. I'm sorry.
Totally different.
And they stand up and they immediately move to help you.
Cool. Like, is there a switch to turn everything back on? I don't...
Well, we're going to have to hard boot the system. Why don't you go ahead and sit here, or come with us back here, and they move you back to a back room and you can see it's a fairly large room. There seems to be a fire exit at the back, a couple offices to the right, and they offer you some warm beverages and.
I take them. Do I see anybody familiar in this room?
No, but he's
Okay.
off in an office.
Okay, well, I'll sit down and sip my tea or hot beverage, and and wait for them to leave while they go figure out what's wrong, and then I'm gonna go sneak around and go find my friend.
Okay. You go and get your drinks as you're kind of walking around and trying to make yourself comfortable, and you see a man come out of the here. Let me jump back real quick. You were here, and where are you? Well, hold on. Give me a second, and then we'll just take a break. You are now here. V went in here and sat you here with a drink, and he comes back out. And we're gonna take 5 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, Anthony.
See you in a bit.
You look like you've just been resisting the temptation to just bust out laughing.
Yeah, a different chat window.
Ah.
Entertaining stuff was going on.
Gotcha.
Hey, Nate.
Hello.
It finally, or sorry, in this sense, since I'm talking to Frenchie. Sorry.
Goodbye.
I finally clicked. I think this is the first time I've actually seen you. I mistook you for somebody else. I now know why I know you.
I thought he was an old-looking African-American woman, so I'm really shocked.
It's not like we didn't spend 5 months locked in a closet together or anything.
It's not like I went to visit you after you had moved away.
Exactly.
How are you doing?
Good. And I'm going to take advantage of this 5-minute break, and then we can talk more.
Yeah,
of
me
course.
too. So I'll set it to commercial for the next 2 minutes, and then it'll be intermission after that.
And by the way, Billy, thanks for being here. It's good to see you again, or hear you.
Yeah, I'm actually glad to be here. It's touch and go there for work for a little bit, but I figured I'd make it in one way or another.
It sounded earlier like you were on top of a moving van or something.
I was definitely driving.
Oh, okay.
Basically, as soon as I left work, I dialed in, and then just to try and catch up with what was going on while I was driving home. That's why I couldn't really do much of anything.
Gotcha.
Do you have any questions?
Just of what I've got so far is everyone's kind of gone their separate ways as to how they want to address the problem, and they're all looking through the different relevant pieces of information or contacts or whatever.
Okay.
I think I've kind of caught up. It sounds like overall everyone's doing fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask a dumb question. Louisiana. What's the 2-letter state code? Is it LA? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have it in, but it somehow, because it's crooked, one of the models fell off. Yeah, it's vibrating off. That's weird.
You know, Daniel, I was laughing at you.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Well, I laugh at you too, jerk.
I know. But I was laughing at you because you're all like, hey, this is going to be a short session. This is not really going to take a whole long time. I'm like, you have never played with any of us. We can make anything last for 4 hours. Come on.
Yeah, I definitely was not expecting that. So we may end up doing something a little bit differently here in a little bit, but yeah. Night, love you.
Love you too.
Let me know when everybody's back. I heard Billy, and I can run Billy pretty soon. I think Jay, are you back? Anthony, are you back? So no one's back.
No one's back with me. I'm the only one that counts anyways. Oh, man.
That was a good drum break.
Okay. So I ended up doing 3 things of Velcro on the hat. I've got one on the top of the mask so that I can line up the top of the front of the hat. And then I've got basically 2 more on the sides of the hat. Then I have a chin strap that goes all the way underneath it now. And so
it's good.
It's not coming off. It's actually more difficult to get off now.
But did you use duct tape?
I did not. It's dual-sided Velcro. It's like sticky Velcro. Like one side sticky, the other side's Velcro. So I just cut off strips of that and put it on the hat. And then I got a filter for my webcam to reduce the glare. But the problem is I bought the wrong one. I apparently bought a neutral density adjustable filter that's also polarizing, but the density is what's adjustable, not the polarization. So I've got the right one ordered, so by next week I should have it. And it shouldn't be so dark, because it's not dark in here. Well, I mean, it is a little dark. But this thing is what is making it darker.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So it should be lighter next week, but I should not have the glare from the monitors like I currently have. I still just got to look up or down.
I just thought it was mood lighting.
Yeah, but what's the mood?
The questions you don't want to ask. You should know by now. Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Fair point.
The mood is how to be intimate with your G-on.
Point proven.
Your pizza pocket's done.
Nice. So I wish I could move my camera over. I printed 2 minis because I wanted to see what it looks like, and I have them in the curing station, which has these really bright UV lights and this centerpiece that rotates so that they can get it from all angles. And the problem is, I think it's vibrating, and it keeps throwing the models off of the round plate, so they're just kind of laying in there.
I mean, don't you have clamps or something?
Give them the clamps.
I'm imagining it like
duct tape.
Duct tape, exactly. I can give you a couple rolls of sticky one side, Velcro the other.
So I could probably do that. No, they so it's a clear plate with kind of like a mirror underneath it, so that even the bottom gets cured. The UV gets the whole model, but
you need to do a model of a ham.
Of a ham?
Yes.
Okay.
Because then it would be a cured ham model.
You walked right into that one, Dan.
I have no one to blame but myself. This is ridiculous. the level of detail.
Well, show us.
Yeah,
one.
we can't see anything.
Yeah, all I see
Okay.
is invisible Dan.
Well, no.
I-
Here, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can get into Zoom. Oh, if I get into Zoom, it's gonna mess you up, isn't it?
No, not at all.
If I get into Zoom on my phone.
No, just mute your computer so that we're not getting feedback from the computer and the phone.
Where is that? Was in here. It was in there. Is Jay back?
Nope.
Okay. Download from Zoom. Download from Google Play. Oh, come on. It's saying I need 5 more memory sticks.
His phone only holds 18% of the memory needed to run Zoom.
Pizza's done. Or not.
It must be a really low wattage microwave because he keeps having to put it back in there.
Yeah. I have to turn it over.
So, never mind. I'll wait till we're not on.
I will say, just like on an incredibly tangent side note, a couple weeks ago on Critical Role, they fought this thing that you would have loved, Daniel. It was a giant baby that had hands as mandibles and a light on the end of a antenna in front of it. It was one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. And I thought of you.
Can you... That's awesome. Can you pin the image from that just came up? Is that possible for you?
Yes, I think so. Hold on. Yep. Oh, well, that is not what I was... You just fell off, too.
Yep.
That was not what I was expecting at all.
It's because we were watching it.
I was thinking that it was actually like spit roasting it, like a spit on its side.
Oh.
Only no rod, right? I was thinking it was turning it over lengthwise.
So it's kind of hard to see any of the detail, really.
No, there's a good chunk coming through.
Yeah.
Wow, is that he's walking up a banister or a flight of stairs?
So he's at an angle to print so that...
Oh, I get it. And you'll remove those after the fact.
Yes.
I see. So he's holding like a club or something.
He's standing...
Support.
Yeah, he's standing on I think he's standing on a helmet. And he's holding a dagger. Two daggers.
That's interesting. I would have never thought that they would have done some kind of lattice work for support for stuff like that. I would have thought that it just somehow...
So there's lattice work. I decided to try both ways, right? I wanted one at an angle so that his upper half, so that one of their upper halves didn't have really any supports, and then I wanted to print the other one straight up and down to see what it looked like with all of the normal supports. Because I'm planning on printing a bunch of models, and I want them to be...
You know, you really should make videos on this, because not many people have this stuff, and it's cool.
What kind of videos would you and I'll talk offline.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Oh my god, you're letting all the radiation out.
I mean, you're not wrong. It smells like ass, but...
He's going to turn into the Hulk later.
Yep. Daniel, smash!
Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to hang up here. But
okay.
that is the curing station for the resin printer that I got for my birthday.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So I've been printing off. They have a setup using Raspberry Pi that you can connect to a 3D printer, which I connected to my filament printer, which I use for larger items and terrain and stuff, and for printing out parts for other 3D printers. And so now I can put it anywhere in my house. It doesn't need to have a computer next to it, and I can access it through my network. I just had to program some stuff and get it to run through the internet.
So how long till you have the shed out back with the house with a security camera aimed at each component and a robot arm to carry out your bidding?
So you laugh, but
I'm not laughing.
I have a camera coming to install on my filament printer so that I can set this whole printer in the bedroom or in the garage or somewhere and look in on it whenever I want, set things to print on it.
I know, I wasn't joking.
Yeah.
Wait, does the printer actually have like a remote software control panel?
Yeah.
That's
Using a Raspberry Pi, there's a thing called Octoprint that you can program to have a web interface, and I can access it and drop files in it, like upload them to my server, and it will print them. Like I've been doing that all day with pieces for the new printers.
So when are you 3D printing me a 3D printer?
So I was joking with Naomi about that the other day, that there are some that you buy. There was a Kickstarter a couple years ago where you buy the smaller parts and then use it to print slightly larger parts, and so it takes like 8 or 9 generations. But then you have a printer that prints like 1 foot by 1 foot areas with fairly good accuracy, that you started out with like 4 inches by 4 inches.
Crazy.
And it was a Kickstarter, so it was pretty cheap at the time. It was like $200 or something, when most of the 3D printers were $1,300 or $1,400.
Jay's back.
Yep. Okay, so Jay's back. Is Billy back?
I've been here forever.
Awesome. Okay, so Billy, Hector is on his way to Dave's drilling. He has been hoofing it, and you get to an area. It is a 2-story motel. It looks beat up, but well taken care of, and that's kind of contradictory. But it looks like they were the older buildings of New Orleans that have been either moved or kind of put some coats of paint, maybe some banisters were replaced and stuff, but it essentially looks like a seafoam motel with a heavy nautical theme, and the neon out front, as well as a holographic sign that hovers about 3 inches off of the neon, proclaims it to be Dave's Drilling. And the logo is a woman and a man standing back to back, both of them holding what look like jackhammers pointed down and holding them suggestively. And as you are kind of moving up, you see there are cars parked in the parking lot. There seems to be a lot of activity going on, even though it's the middle of the day. It looks like maybe they're having a barbecue with some of their common customers, would be your guess. As you kind of make your way up, there is a heavy iron bar fence that is protecting the area. And there's a fairly large gate as well that requires a pass ID code to get in. But you can see some of the people milling around inside.
Looking at the crowd of people, can I make out like employees that work there? Can I tell a difference? Or the owner, etc.?
You're not entirely sure what the owner looks like, so that would be a hard sell. But you do see definitely people that either work there or dress up like people that would work there. And they're dressed mostly very flashy, and they're very fit-looking people. You do smell what smells like actual cooking meat, which is odd because most of what is being cooked and sold is like fake meat, and that smells like definite actual meat.
All right. Well, I'll make my way over to the barbecue.
So there's a fence and a big gate. So you're gonna have to get past that unless you want to jump it.
Before I jump it, I just kind of holler out loud enough to be heard, but not to be obnoxious. I'm looking for Dave.
A young man in like kind of a halter top and chrome pants comes over and says, "Oh, we don't take walk-ins, honey.
This isn't a walk-in, and I'm not here for you.
Do you have an appointment with Dave?"
Dave's gonna want to talk to me.
You know what? This is above my pay grade. And he saunters off, and about he disappears from view. About 5 minutes later, you see a fairly jacked guy in his late 40s, early 50s, with several large tufts of thick hair pushing their way out of a fit Colombian shirt. You know what I'm talking about, the Colombian collared shirts?
Yep.
He's got a lot of hair coming out the top, and hair pulled back in a tight ponytail up high on his head. And he looks at you over a pair of large aviators and says, "I don't know you."
I say, I want to be like Harry, I presume, but I'm not going to say that. No, you don't. I'm sorry for interrupting your afternoon and your barbecue, but this is important enough that you probably want to hear it from me and not from somebody else.
He comes closer, but not within reach, and he says, "Look, I'm getting Tony's money, all right? He doesn't have to send his people down here. We're having a private event. I don't need his people coming down here making threats." He obviously thinks that you're someone you're not.
Right. I'm not even going to address that. I said, no problem. I'm sure Tony understands, but I'm here for a different topic.
Oh, well, how can I help you?
I'm looking for, and I show him a picture of the individual I'm looking for, and I say, he might be going under the name of Sil Dominguez. I need to know if you have any records or have seen this individual come frequent your establishment. He should have within the last few months, multiple times.
That shitbox. He ain't good for nothing. You're a friend of his? You're
Not a
looking for
friend.
him? Should have got in the swamps. If anything good happened to him at all, he'd be blowing up. What was it? He'd be bloating up and rolling up on some beach somewhere. Half dead till Tuesday.
So what's the issue you had with him? And no, he's not a friend of mine.
He tried to buy one of my girls from me. They aren't for sale. They aren't slaves. They're here on contract, just like any joy that you find in the city. But that's you can't just buy and sell people. I told him that, and then I showed him that, and then she showed him that.
Did he get the hint after you all showed him?
Well, I only saw him once after that, begging and crying. Please don't tell anyone. Please don't tell the police. Please don't tell Danny Tucci.
Danny Tucci?
Yeah,
Who's that?
he runs the family in these parts. I guess your boy came up on the wrong side of the family.
What's the deal here? So he offended you by offering to buy a girl and then ran afoul of Danny Tucci? Or is that
Not offering. He made plans to take her and leave me some eddies. That was his plan. He brought a program that he loaded into her, which, by the way, we run a clean establishment. That kind of stuff is not okay. And tried to run away.
When was the
Taking the
last
poor
time you
doll with
saw
him. Right after probably end of November.
Is it the last time your girl saw him as well?
Look, she don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble, and she doesn't remember any of it. It was on one of her IDs. I'd rather not have her dredgered up, you know.
On one of her IDs. So there is a way for her to.
There was what?
Just trying to. What my character understand that there is a way to bring up this information or no?
So, in theory, if she loaded the personality or whatever that she had when she was there, if she was able to, she might remember something. But chances are, all of that is deleted in between. In between Johns or users or whatever.
Hey Daniel, I'm sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. Can you mute for 1 second?
Yep.
Yep, totally am. Okay, go ahead.
Yep, there it is.
Is it a hum?
It's a real high-pitched whine, and we were all trying to figure out where it was coming from. And I'm like, I bet that's his printer.
It's coming from. I actually decided not to print things right now because of that sound, but it's.
We figured it was a doll in the background that you programmed?
No, it's the curing station. I'll just turn it off for now. And come back to it later.
Sorry. Thank you.
No, next time let me know. I don't have a problem with it. Okay. So yeah. He brought a personality chip to load into a Joy doll, and then was going to take said Joy doll and leave some script or some eddies for Dave, and got his butt handed to him in trade.
Question for you. Do you know what the issue was between him and Danny Tucci, or is this all part of the same issue with this girl?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, the boy was head up on Boost and... What was it? Boost and Smash?
Yep.
The boy was neck deep in Boost and Smash every time I saw him. So, my guess is he might have run afoul with the family trying to get the next score or whatever. Sometimes we see kids like that have a little bit of coin in their pocket and want to feel the whole world, you know? Once those brain dances hit the street, I'm sure they'll be stoked just like the next kid. But for now, they have to get their jollies the old-fashioned way.
Last question for you, and I'll leave you to get back to your barbecue. Did he ever show up here with a friend or anybody else?
Not that I can think of. I can check my tapes, but I think it was just him.
I'd appreciate if you could check your tapes, just to make sure.
Can I get your info and I'll shoot it over to you if I find anything?
Yeah, I'll share my info with him.
Okay. He takes your agent ID and nods to you, and one of the guy that had come up to you before in the crop top and shiny pants hands Dave what looks like a wrapped. It looks like a wrapped hot dog, and Dave passes it to you through the bars. He says, "Take care of yourself."
Hey, you too.
And that kid better know what's best for him.
If I wanted to find Danny Tucci, what would be the fastest way to get there?
Stick out your thumb, man. That family owns most of the travel along the West Coast that isn't run by white hands. And he points across the like across the road, and you can see there's a bodega,
Okay.
and like in a large paint on the side of the bodega is a huge white hand with the middle finger chopped off at the first knuckle. First knuckle? Second knuckle. There's like a nub of a middle finger on the hand.
Those are the white hands?
Yeah. They control this whole area. Well, they and the family.
All right. So it sounds like my first step needs to be to find a building without that plastered all over it.
Good luck with that. They have some kind of working relationship. I don't care to know. I pay my dues, and that's really all I need to do to stay
Sounds
out
good.
of
I'll talk to you if I need you again. Thanks for your time.
it. And he turns, and you can hear them turn up music that sounds like a cybered up mariachi, like heavy beat music. Happy, but still cybered out.
I like it. So basically, I pass on all the information I just had to everybody. Basically, that he attempted to buy a girl. He's run afoul of Danny Tucci and that family. Tried to load a personality chip into the Joy Doll. And this was around the end of November, the last time they saw him. And he seems to, the owner of this brothel, Joy Dolls or whatever, seems to think that he's likely dead. I guess follow up that with I'm on my way now to try and find Danny Tucci or any establishment of his that's in the local area.
And you sent that out to everybody?
Yep.
Okay. Nate and, well, no, Bishop, because you are sidelined. Bishop, with your brain in the, well, wait, let's go back to Bishop real quick. What are you doing, Bishop?
So I found what I needed out of the records. I was going to head over to Net Architecture next. And
Okay.
I want to actually look for what might be causing their issues.
So I can tell you that probably won't be on this system.
Okay, I was just basically going to look to see if there were any viruses installed, just
Yeah,
to be sure.
so AIs require a lot more hardware than what they have here, access to this network.
Okay.
There might be another network somewhere in the building that is running the hardware for the AIs, but it's you can see based on the Pathfinder that what he is connected you to is more of like their local filing LAN.
So I'll go ahead and disconnect, and I will say to him, okay, thank you, that helped immensely, but that's not going to help me diagnose the issue you're having. Do you have one, like a network for the AIs here in the building?
I mean, none of us have access to the AIs. None of us breeders. That's all upstairs in the head office with where that's run by all of the other AI stuff. Delamain controls all of Delamain, except for back at headquarters in the business district.
So what happens if there's a physical hardware issue upstairs? They have to send service techs, right?
In theory, but we've never seen them. I mean, most of us have only been here 8 months.
If I were to try and go up there to try and help, do you think I'd get shot?
You might. When we first moved in, they, yeah, you also got the message, Mark.
Yeah.
The reason I was saying is because you and Nate both recognized Tucci.
Right.
When we first got here, there was a lot of damage to these buildings that looked self-inflicted.
I tell you what, you help me. I really want to help you with this.
Do you have a contact so we
Yeah.
can get a hold of you?
Yeah, and I will shoot him my info.
I can try to find a way upstairs, and maybe if I can find a way upstairs, I can have you come back, help us out.
You call anytime. I'll be there.
I really appreciate it. And he stands up and holds out his hand like he's expecting your name.
Bishop, you?
James.
James, nice to meet you. Here, let's exchange information. I transfer my stuff and look to get his contact info.
Yeah, he passes his contact info to you too.
Okay. I will then turn and message. Damn it! Hold on one second. Sorry, I lost my sheet with my NPCs. View all recent files. I just did this. Why do I not see it? My two fingers, whatever his name was, I can't find my character sheet. Notes. I'm sorry. I'm gonna reach out to him and say, send him a quick message. Hey, the kid that we're looking for, seems to have upset Danny Tucci by trying to reprogram a Joy doll from Dave's drilling.
Two-tone.
Who?
Two-tone?
Yeah, two-tone.
I'll look into that, but nobody's seen Danny for a while.
Okay. I've got a lead on the kid. I'll see if I can follow up. Thanks for keeping your ear to the ground.
Good luck. And as you step out of that office, or as you start moving around in that office, no one you see Bishop from that office walking out.
Hey, I'm with him. All right, no one's watching. All right, cool. I'm gonna follow. Hey.
I'll come out, and I'll be like, "Oh, what are you doing here? What a surprise! Long time no see."
Yeah, their computer's broke. I don't know. It was really weird. I didn't get any information. Did nothing useful. So, how are you?
Good. You want to walk and talk?
Yeah, sounds good. I got all the messages, so I
Okay.
think that we're gonna have better luck elsewhere.
Yeah, I think
And
so too.
their power's out front. I played with the computer for a little bit.
Remind me never to let you have access to my stuff.
That would be smart. That would be very smart.
Why don't we head over to 223 Adams?
Sounds like a plan. Let's head that way.
Okay. Frenchie and Nate.
Yo,
How far away is 223 Adams from our current location? It's like 5 blocks, right?
Yeah. Which means it's about 18 blocks for Bishop and no one.
Well, no, it's directly in between. So it's like 5 blocks for them and 5 blocks for me.
Sure.
It's within walking distance either way.
It's within walking distance.
So Frenchie's going to have the one mem stick wrapped in duct tape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it froze him.
Yeah. I
did
thought
he
it was
DC?
He shouldn't have wrapped it in duct tape.
So what he wanted to do was wrap it in duct tape and just keep it probably separate than the others.
Yeah. I figured he didn't actually wrap it in duct tape. I figured he probably, if he used duct tape, he just like put a piece of it on there.
Yeah, just identify it somehow since they're all identical. So
Yeah.
and we'll probably just walk there. Nate is taking the sailing magazine he got off the floor. He might need that later.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think
Okay.
I DC'd for the last few moments. What did I just miss?
You said something about giving me all your eddies, and we were gonna meet at
And
Adams.
we've already done that. So
I already gave you the burrito.
how many?
It was
eddies-
okay. It wasn't the best. That's why I only gave you 4 instead of 5 eddies. But you then turned it down, so.
All right. So you're heading that direction. They're heading that direction. What are you doing, Hector?
Wait. Okay. There you go. You get that message before you answer, Hector.
Are you able to see the Roll20 messages, Billy?
He's
I
typing.
am. Yes.
He's already
Awesome.
participating.
Okay, awesome.
We were going to tell him about Tony Air around the box Manetti, but we haven't gotten that far yet.
All right. So, I get that message that from Bishop, and start to make my way slowly to 223 Adams, but along the way, trying to keep an eye out for any establishments that do seem to belong to Tucci that aren't White Hand or whatnot.
As you make your way to towards 223 Adams, the number of white hands you see increases. Not like so that there's hands across America or anything, but because you're looking for the signs, you are seeing where territory is definitely dropped. There are a couple smaller buildings that don't have those logos and like businesses. One is dry cleaners, another one is a like a watch repair or not watch, antiques and repair that don't have white hands, but the majority of the businesses and projects and apartment complexes and stuff that you see have some kind of indicator.
So the ones that don't necessarily mean that they're associated with Tucci. It just means that they're not owned yet by this particular gang.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, unless I can find something that I know belongs to them, I'm just going to make my way to 223 Adams.
Okay. It's strange. You guys all arrive at nearly the same time because it's 10 o'clock.
Did you still want to cover that stuff at the end?
I wanted to, but we'll see. We'll have to see. I might try to just pull people together off the cuff. We're almost done. Okay, so you arrive. I mean, maybe we're almost done. You arrive at 223 Adams. Just as a cop car, a LNPD pulls away from the curb and drives off. They hit their sirens once to get you guys out of the street, and then drive on by. So they are no longer.
Is that a Delamain to the south?
To the south?
Yeah,
the truck?
The wreck truck, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay, just checking.
Good question. Since they're going crazy.
Get off the street, guys.
And Frenchie will move over to the sidewalk out of the way of the cop car that's running past. I'm off the street. I'm walking here. I'm just walking here.
As you make your way, you can see there are 3 people standing out back of this small building. They all have, these are gang wear. Anybody who wants to roll a streetwise can do so to see if they can notice identifying blah blah blah.
Streetwise. I swear the most difficult. I swear the most difficult part of this game is actually finding the skills on the chart.
My hope is we'll be able to get the characters loaded into the sheet, and then you'll only have to worry about certain skills. But it means I'm going to have to load every single skill in for when you want to try things that you aren't necessarily skilled in.
Right.
Just make macros for all of them.
Nate has great wisdom of the streets.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah, definitely.
You probably slept in some of those dumpsters over there for a while.
Nate, no one in Bishop, or let's start with here.
Wait.
Let's start with, yes.
Oh, because it was exploding. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I was wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
31.
So,
Damn.
no one in Bishop. You know these are definitely white hands. So they all have a small patch that has the same mark that I described earlier. It's a handprint with a middle finger like this.
Mm-hmm.
And they all have a small, and it's a really small patch, and they're kind of hanging out back. But that could mean a lot of things. You actually don't see any handprint signs on this building, but the three of them are definitely those.
Okay. But what is the, I don't know, temperament of this gang to the general public?
Don't try to take the territory.
No intention.
If you're in their territory, what you have belongs to them. And they are willing to do trades, and if it benefits them greatly, they're willing to talk. They're not immediately jumping to violence, but they protect what they have with a lot of probably overkill. Nate, you know someone who used to be a white hand. They had to chop off their right hand to get out of the gang, and he is now like a fry chef on a cart in north in nation. But he let you in on a lot of the specifics, like some of the specific sayings that they say and what to look for to know their rank, stuff like that. It was one of those times where you were just kind of hanging out, and you found him interesting for however long, and those were the stories that he shared. That's what he knew. So based on that knowledge, you can see that the big guy with the headband, he looks like he's a lieutenant. They're not called lieutenants, but you know what I mean. And the other two look to be like new initiates. They're fairly young faces to be added to the gang.
Excellent.
You also know that while they guard their territory a lot, and on your way here you saw a lot of white hands showing territory, the fact that this building does not have territory means that it must be being used for something else that they don't want to draw attention to.
Okay, so we knew we were coming here to investigate this address. Do we see how big this building is? Is it feasible to just, go around the other side and ignore them, or is it one of those cases where, okay, if we want to get in, we're going to have to deal with them, talk to them, or whatever?
It's not super busy, but there are people walking along the sidewalk, so you don't think that, you guys are all clustered up staring at them right now, but if you were to spread out and keep walking, you could probably walk around the whole building to get tabs to see what the whole building looks like on the outside without them really looking up.
Okay, I don't know if we want to reconnoiter the whole thing, but Nate's just going to sort of turn around and quietly tell them, these white hands are not going to be easy. We can go around and we can talk to them.
Sounds good to me.
It was more of an A or B thing.
No. Hold on.
Or if you have other ideas.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Hold on. I'm slow.
I mean, do they look like they're like scoping us out? They're there guarding the door?
They're chatting right now. The bigger guy is leaning up against the wall smoking something that's definitely not a cigarette. and they're all sharing scop and kind of just laughing and joking around. Your best guess is this around the corner from the door, because you can see where the door is down here. Ah, wrong tool.
Wait. Sorry to interrupt. Just a quick question. We are heading to the address where they dumped the probably dead kid that we were looking for?
So Delamain he went to the hospital. He got beaten and lightly stabbed at the hospital. He didn't
Lightly
stay.
stabbed.
He left the hospital, and the Delamain taxi brought him here, and then left. From the hospital to here, he was still bleeding, so he obviously didn't get a lot of things taken care of, and vomited a little bit in the Delamain taxi on the way here, but got here, and that was a month and a half ago.
Yeah. But
Would they require? Yeah, if we want to get in, we may need to interact with them. Is there some simple tax or whatever we can just pay that either Nate would know or we as a group would know, and it's like all good?
That lets you into a building that they're using for something else? Probably not that you would know.
I'd rather look the place over and find another way.
Here in these
let's walk around,
streets.
or let me walk around.
I'm gonna hang to the left, so I'm gonna go counterclockwise around the building.
Okay.
The grass is never greener, but I guess we'll see.
I'm actually turning my mask off so that I am not drawing attention to myself, and I turn my glow off. So basically, it just looks like I'm wearing black clothing. And I will go clockwise.
Okay. Was somebody else going with Hector?
And I'm looking at security, like see if there's ways in that might be vulnerable as I do it.
Okay. So go ahead.
What is Hector doing?
That's very loud.
I know, I'm sorry.
So is somebody going with Hector around counterclockwise?
Doing?
He's walking counterclockwise around the building.
Sure. Hector will probably be a good meat shield if something goes down.
So as you guys make your way around the building, you see that there are 2 doors, a handful of very small barred up or boarded up windows. There is an attic entrance that seems to be knocked in, but it's above this window here. So you would have to climb up around these 3 people. One person is sitting at the bus stop. It doesn't look like they're attached to the situation at all. And 2 people are hanging out on either side of the stairs at the front door. Standing to either side of the stairwell. They seem bored, like they're on watch.
Is that theme his doorbell?
No, that's his phone. Somebody was texting him or calling him. And he was trying to, I think, mute it or auto hang up, and they just kept calling back. Alright, so the 2 people up front are obviously on guard duty. The 3 people in back seem to be just hanging out. There doesn't seem to be anybody at the back door, as far as you can tell, standing out there. There is a truck that crashed into the side of the building or back of the building a while ago. And it's just been sitting there, but there's still a wall there. Like there's not like a hole into the building.
Did we get 2 apples?
Yes.
And there's 2 guards?
Yes. Each of you got 2 apples. Many of you ate one of them.
I did not.
I said
very
many.
Specifically.
I said many. I did not say all.
I almost traded them, but I'm wondering if we can hand him some apples and ask if we can take a look-see for our friend.
it's worth a try.
Okay.
Is that what you want to try?
You
Are you
cool
gonna
with
talk to
this,
Hector about it?
Hector? I'm gonna go give them a snack because these apples are still good, and I'm pretty sure they'll like them. And say, hey, we're looking for a friend of ours. Do you mind if we poke around? Promise not to cause any trouble. I say no answer is a yes.
What do you think, Billy?
You might be on mute, Billy.
Billy.
Oh, sorry, you couldn't hear me. What I was saying was that I also give you the hot dog that I got earlier in the day. That seems to be actual meat. Let's try and sweeten the deal.
Well, ooh, maybe we can have them fight over a hot dog and give them 2 apples and let them fight over a hot dog. This is gonna make it look. Yeah.
This is a strange conversation you're having 10 feet away from them.
Well, I mean,
we whisper it, but we're like, hey, we got food.
So,
guys, we're gonna
do you want to try? Are you trying bribery, conversation, persuasion? What are you trying? So you missed some of that, Mark, but there's a door around back. There's a couple windows, but they're all boarded up or blocked off. There is an entrance to the attic, but it's over the center of the front of the house. It's a small pink rectangle. The 2 in the front seem to be actually on guard duty. The 3 in the back seem to just be hanging out. You don't see any security or guards on the back door.
So I'm gonna use conversation as starting, like, hey, we're looking for a friend of ours. It's been a while. It's probably a dead end. We don't plan on causing trouble. We just want to see that he's see if he's here. We got these apples and a hot dog that I figure you guys might want to snack on while we take a look to see if our friend is here.
So what would you like to try?
Conversation.
Conversation. Okay, so go ahead and make a conversation. I'm actually going to make you make a bribery because you're also trying to bribe them. But start with conversation and then make a bribery with a +5. Because what you're offering is stuff they may not have ever seen in their life. Roll a 1.
I didn't roll great, but I didn't roll a 1.
Okay. As you are talking, and they start off kind of wary and about to tell you to back off. They see that you're holding these apples out and what smells like an actual meat hot dog, and they say, you're not going to cause trouble.
No, honestly, absolutely have no intention of causing
Hector,
trouble.
did you say you stopped off and got your rifle, Hector?
I don't leave home without it. Not my rifle, my pistol.
Okay. So you don't have a giant rifle slung across your back?
Negative.
Okay.
No weapons, my pistol. We are in gang territory. We don't want to die. Yeah, no, I have absolutely no intention. We're looking for our friend. We don't see him, we leave. No questions asked. It's just, I would like to know that he's not here and that we actually looked.
Look, I can give you 5 minutes max. If you're in there, I can't promise your safety. So hopefully your friend there can take care of you. But look, just don't do anything that will get you in trouble or get me in trouble, yeah?
Yeah, no problem. I won't mention you. This is just an in and out, just checking if they're there.
Enjoy your apple.
Yes, enjoy your treat. Quiet as mice.
Alright, so you guys, they wave you in as they smell the apple and the hot dog. The woman up top cuts the hot dog in half and tosses it over. And Bishop, you come around the corner as you see no one and Hector start to head up the stairs. Midnight, what are you doing?
Well, I was sort of taking stock of where everybody else was going because we're splitting up, and I noticed Frenchie was just kind of chilling.
He is essentially following you.
Yeah, he keeps DCing on me. I think he's like a narcolepsy, so I'm trying to keep track of him.
Need to get my blue glass fixed.
I would like not to have more than 2 of us going into this building, but have comms on backup.
Right. Nate actually wants to. I mean, he knows so much about these people. This White Hand club or whatever. He's gonna go up and talk to him, and he's just gonna look over his left shoulder again at French and be like, "Follow my lead." And so he's just gonna, coolly saunter towards these 3 gentlemen, peacefully. I have a comm.
Yeah,
Frenchie's gonna stand ominously behind Midnight, following his lead.
So you guys walk up, and at first they're kind of like, "The hell are you doing here?" And the large guy goes, "No frilling way."
And Nate's gonna look at him and all of them, and because he knows their lingo or whatever, he's gonna be like, "What's cooking, bros?"
The big guy introduces himself as Carl, and will toss you a scop and toss one to Frenchie, and he says, "See, you kids are too young. This is Midnight. We have rocker fame. Well, what used to be rocker fame." He laughs and slaps you on the back.
Nate'll kind of giggle and is like, and when he looks at the other 2, when he says young, are they look really young?
So he is in his probably late 30s, early 40s. They are like 15, 16.
Okay. In that case, Nate's going to look at the 2 young'uns and do this like air guitar gesture and be like, and then look at Carl and say, it's nice to see somebody who knows a star when he sees one.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I was there when you rocked out to Panacoma. That was crazy.
Oh, that was rad. Yeah. You know what? I'm willing to give you an autograph if you still want one.
Well, I mean, I'll take one. It's not worth as much as it used to be. But I keep poking fun at you.
Yeah, maybe only 4 digits, It came down a bit. And he's going to look back at Frenchie and just kind of nod like he's expecting him to agree or whatever. Whether he does or not, I have no idea. And look to Carl and the 2 guys. Do the 2 young'uns seem at ease, or do they seem like, hands on their weapons ready to drop a niche, or do they seem cool?
They're confused.
Good.
They're confused because they don't recognize you at all. But they've never seen Carl like act friendly like this with a stranger.
Well, he's starstruck. You can't blame him.
Yeah.
So
Frenchie's just gonna be standing behind with his arms crossed, trying not to laugh as he watches this whole thing.
So Bishop, around one corner you see no one and Hector coming up the front stairs. Around the other corner you see Midnight and Frenchie kind of making a show of the 3 that are standing outside.
And I'll go yoink while they're distracted.
Yeah, that's kind of what Nate's doing. It's not that he's asking specific questions. It's more like he's looking for openings about their personalities, or if they mention some kind of like sports team or their favorite chocolate bar that they haven't had in years, or just things like that. He's just gonna generically converse or whatever. Just to give everybody else time to do what they need to do.
You see like a small back porch area. But it's completely walled in with like extra plywood and cardboard, and there's a person, a guy sitting in a corner, like collapsed on the floor in the corner, his red eyes flickering. He has jacks in the crooks of his elbows, like the inside of his arms, and he's twitching every once in a while, but he's laying on the floor kind of just drugged out and twitching. No one, and Hector, you make your way inside, and I'm going to keep messing that up and see this.
I'm just waiting to see a bathtub full of ice and bodies.
It does seem to be the trend in this universe.
You have to watch out for bathtubs.
Yeah, they're the most dangerous thing in the world.
Okay. It is filthy. There is wrecked furniture, trash everywhere, food and drink, beverages like from vending machines all over the place, used needles all over the place, glass container, blue glass being the drug, a bunch of boost cans and smash vapor, aerosols, and that kind of stuff all over the place.
Reminds me of my childhood.
So that's what you all see. This door ahead of you, Mark, is a door, but the wall next to it is completely destroyed. So
Okay.
you see into the room.
Got it.
Can Hector try to pretend to act like a crackhead right now? Like, not a crazy attack people crackhead, but just kind of look like you're zoned out, okay?
Oh.
So we can fit in.
Isn't he wearing a mask?
Yeah, he's wearing a full helmet.
Son of a bitch. He looks like a riot cop, doesn't he?
He looks like a robot. No,
Hector?
not really. Not really.
Okay.
So actions.
Well, this is not our guy, the one that's near me, right?
No.
And I want to be clear because I'm not clear from the description. Is he a drug addict or is he a netrunner that's jacked in?
He looks like a netrunner that's jacked in, but also a drug addict.
Yeah. Does he have any good gear?
He's in a crack house in the middle of a crappy neighborhood, and he's a drug addict. No, he doesn't have any good gear.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Move on into here.
Well, he doesn't. One way or another, he doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
Right. I'm stepping over the thing, the needles and whatnot, and making sure not to fall through the floor right here.
Yeah, you're good.
That's a big crack.
It is. A lot of
Plumber's
moms,
crack, if you will.
A lot of moms died for that.
There's a large man sleeping on a pool table. He is filthy, like filthy. And every once in a while he screams like a night terror and then rolls over and covers himself up with a ratty blanket. You can see track marks lining underneath his chin all the way around from ear to ear. And he's a big dude, like almost 7 feet tall, probably 400 pounds.
I'm going to try to
Don't
make my
wake him
way
up.
this way without,
Okay.
I'll be silent, not wake him up.
As you get to this door, you see a handprint on the door. Roll me a stealth check. But you see it. You're trying to be quiet, right?
Yeah, which I'll need to know what door in a minute. Hold on. Where's stealth? Stealth. Got it. Okay. So, stealth.
You see a mark on the door that has the handprint, but the finger cut off is the index finger.
So, what about this person that's over by me?
Oh, laying on the floor?
Oh, is he laying on the floor? Like,
Yeah, he's laying on the
everyone's
floor.
passed out, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just gonna try to keep quiet, and I want to peek in the door in here.
As you peek in the door, it's dark. You see a toilet, a gross toilet, a sink, and someone laying in a bathtub.
Is it full of ice?
No.
Is it a dead person?
It's hard to tell. He's filthy. And covered in his own filth.
What? Okay, I'm gonna look at, like, obviously my phone's on mute. Everything's on mute. But I'm gonna try to, like, look at the unconscious people without getting, like, waking them up.
Hector doesn't give a
To
shit.
make sure
He'll
they
go
don't look
over and like flip
familiar.
them over.
No!
So are you going in to check the guy in the bathtub, Hector?
I am going in to find out whether this is our persona non grata. Yes.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Stand by.
I'll keep an eye on the door.
Okay.
Calculating.
Calculating.
Working.
Exactly.
Stop texting me, guys. I have my phone on mute. I'm not reading them.
Beep, beep, beep. Oh yeah, that's your guy. He is covered in his own filth and the filth of others. He is extremely strung out, and he's probably 25 pounds lighter, but it's him.
It's our
He
guy.
has a neural link that they didn't talk about in the file that you were given, and he has a chip slotted in a memory slot that you don't recognize what it looks like.
But he's breathing.
Yep.
And very unconscious?
Yep.
So you can
pick
sling
him
him
up.
over your shoulder, and I'll go tell the guys we found our friend. Thank you very much for their help. And I'll slip him some money.
As you guys exit this room, you see Bishop sneaking into the room next door.
And Bishop is like, if he sees, well,
Yeah, you see each other.
okay, if you see each other, then
You're the only conscious moving people in this building.
then I'm like pointing towards the back door.
Where I am pointing, like, into the room, because this is our guy.
No,
No,
he's
no,
already
Hector's-
out.
Hector's
Hector's
already
already got, and I'm
Hector's got
pointing
it.
to the back door.
Yeah, we're going out this way. The way that I came in, because it's
No.
out. Come on.
What is this? Musical doors?
15 minutes
agreed.
later, you guys are still in a standoff in the middle of the crack
But
den.
Hector's already taken off
Yeah.
with the guy, and he's like, "Fuck these two."
So
as
Hector,
we,
you're the
like-
one. You're the one that
Yeah.
has Linus. Which direction are you going?
I think Frenchie's going to leave me before you guys are done.
Hector disconnected, so he didn't have to actually make a decision.
Hector's going out the back door.
Oh, he did disconnect.
No, he disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah, DCers automatically follow the good people.
Who's the good people? Wow. Thanks, Jay.
The people
Alright,
who
so-
stay.
So they went out the front because that's where they had made the deal originally. And you made your way back out the back.
Yep.
As you guys make out your way up front, do you send a message to everybody? Nobody can hear you. We'll have to figure out your situation.
Yeah, it's because in order to unmute temporarily, I have to press the space button, but I have to be clicked on the Zoom meeting, and I keep going back and forth.
Something I want to say as they're exiting, sorry to cut you off, but if Nate sees the back door open, he's pretty much going to point in the opposite direction during the conversation with these three guys as though to get their attention elsewhere, like doubly sure that they're not going to see anybody getting pulled out of this place.
Frenchie will just maneuver himself.
I think
to
it was
the-
/ME space the message.
Yep, that is correct.
Frenchie will just position himself such that as he's continuing to be almost like Midnight's manager, if you will, or at least groupie, position himself such a way that as the conversation is going, they'll turn to look at Frenchie, which puts their back to the door that that no one and Hector just came out of.
I'll look at the smaller of the two little guys. And I want to point to Frenchie and say, "Don't mess with my muscle taper."
Okay, so you're good. So you want to do an emoji? I don't think Roll20 does emojis.
It doesn't do emojis. That makes me sad. And then I want to put a sad face emoji, and I can't. Oh, there we go. I got happy and I could get a sad face, but I can't do like all the fun ones.
When the net went down in the last corporate war, it took all the emojis with it.
Yep.
Anyway, we're getting out of here, so you guys probably.
No, I can do emojis.
Oh boy.
Damn it, Daniel.
A guy with a really long nose is smiling.
Damn, Daniel.
Nice recovery.
I would.
It's quite an eggplant you got.
Oh my gosh.
It's late. Okay, so you guys got the guys out. You finished your conversations. Where are you headed?
I'm calling a taxi.
Not here.
You're calling a taxi.
Yep.
No,
Okay.
is there like a bus station we can just haul this unconscious body on?
We're gonna get a Delamain. We don't want a Delamain.
No, we don't.
No,
we
I'm
just,
not getting.
Like,
I'm
get
not
the
calling.
fuck out of
We
here.
can't afford
you can't
a
afford a
Delamain.
Delamain.
No, can we just get?
But you have to take him down. You have to carry him and walk as a group for several blocks, even to get to an area that a taxi will come to. But you're able to get a taxi, and you head where?
Where are we staying?
I say.
Oh,
I
we
think.
got
I
a
think.
bunch of stuff. Should we take him? Let's take him to one of our stack houses so that the doctor can make sure he doesn't die.
So that's the first thing we're going to do is once we get to a somewhat stable location is that Frenchie is going to take a look at Linus because I DC'd to the entire description of what he's at and I have no clue what his health state is at.
They don't know either because they're not medical people.
Well, Frenchie's going to try to do a full examination. He'll have take his left cyber arm, or his left arm, which is a cyber arm, and open up the compartment where the med scanner is housed and pull out the various cords and wires and start connecting to Linus's body to get his bio readings to figure out the state of him.
Okay.
At the same time, Frenchie will say to the rest of the team that we should probably just go straight to call Lux and have them come pick Linus up at our current location.
All right, so long story short, because of time and everything, you are able to get a read off of him while I'm assuming someone calls Lux.
I do.
I figured.
Yeah.
And he is 3 sheets to the wind on several drugs. He has a chip loaded into his neural implant that is preventing his forebrain and his aft brain from talking to each other. And he is about 25 pounds lighter than he was in the picture, and he wasn't that big in the picture.
But he's alive.
He's barely on. He is on the absolute minimum nutrition needed to exist.
But he's still alive.
But he's still alive. Lux will drive down in a rental, and she will meet you at a like a parking lot with dim lighting, and she is not ecstatic, but very, very happy as she walks over with her gigantic form. I really was worried that you would find him dead, or not at all.
Sorry to interrupt, but as she was coming in and Frenchie identified that he has a ton of different drugs in his system, Frenchie's going to go ahead and pull the rapid detox stim out of his bag and hit Linus's body with the rapid detox, which should immediately purge the effects of those drugs from the guy's system.
Also, like, this system out on us. Can I get away before it gets on my shoes?
As you pump him full of these meds, he coughs violently and spews forth, like the Exorcist, a bunch of what you can only assume is ancient Vendit food turned into some kind of thick, viscous fluid. And it's all over everything.
I will remember this. These are my favorite shoes, Frenchie. You could have told me to back up.
Those are bag lady chic shoes. He could afford better.
Oh, I'm going to take these shoes off and beat the shit out of you once this guy stops vomiting.
All right. So You guys make your way. So she walks up and she thanks you, thanks you, thanks you. She makes a call, and each of you receives 750 credits or your eddies into your accounts. And she opens up the trunk, and you can see that there are five, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. How many of you are there? 1, 2, 3, 5. There are 5 small boxes, about 2 foot by 2 foot cardboard boxes, that have been labeled almost as if they were like Amazon delivery boxes. And she leaves the trunk open for you guys to get them as she takes Linus and puts him in the back of the vehicle.
Lux, please pass me your contact information for that conversation.
Oh yeah, of course. As
Excuse
she's
me,
done,
you are not trying to come up and hit on this. No.
no, he wants a different there's a specific conversation.
Okay.
And he gives
Yeah.
the 750.
She passes you her contact information after she loads up. Yes.
And sorry, I was switching back. And he gives her the 750 back because that was his deal.
You do realize you're gonna have to pay for rent at some point, right?
I don't have rent.
Yeah, I also didn't make you.
Yeah, we both forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, it's something you need to start doing.
I know.
Because that's a huge thing.
Yep.
She says, okay. You know what? Retcon that. She never sent it to you to begin with because it wasn't part of your deal.
Right.
And she sends you their contact information after she loads up Linus and says, I'm going to get him to a hospital. If you need anything or you think of anything, please let me know. And she asks Frenchie for to send her the read from his med
scanner.
Med scanner, yeah.
The med scanner's hooked up to Frenchie's agent, so he's able to quickly swipe the information from his agent to hers.
She thanks you again, and then after helping unload the 5 boxes, we'll head out kind of super quick. Each of the boxes has a 3 pre-packed meals, like good meals, and 5 apples.
Are they Vapples?
They're Vapples, yeah.
They're Vapples, but we're getting paid in fresh fruit, and it seems worth more than like real food. So you said how many apples and what else?
Each box has 3 pre-packed meals and 5 apples. And a small bottle of scotch.
Ooh.
I say small. It's like
one of the airplane one.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
it's
like
tradable.
Yeah, it's like an airplane one. Yeah.
The travel size.
Travel size.
Oh, I don't want to type it out.
But it's real scotch. It's not some like.
It looks like real scotch, and it's labeled makes it look like real scotch.
And if you believe hard enough, it is real scotch.
It's not synthahol, as far as you can tell.
I don't need to believe. The people who are paying for it need to believe. That's all.
Okay, so each of you receives 80 experience for this story, and 20 experience for the play-by-post. I will get with you offline to roll for Hustle, which is the side jobs you do in between these jobs. And just so all of you know, how Hustle is going to work is we're going to roll, and it will list off the kinds of jobs you're doing in between. And then what you guys will do is you'll write up what occurred for that hustle. It's not something that I'll have to keep track of. It's just to help move the story and show your characters progressing. If you are going to spend that XP on skills, you need to add to the calendar, because remember we have a shared calendar, what skills you're working on over that week to show that you're increasing that skill. So if you're picking up an instrument that you don't already know, or you're learning how to talk to people, I want you to show that in the calendar.
So 100 IP altogether, right?
100 IP altogether, yeah.
Okay. Quick question for you: am I allowed to incorporate the whisper I sent you into my hustle?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Feel
Assuming
free.
I don't roll poorly.
Yeah, feel free I mean, really, the hustle. I mean, be honest with it. What the hustle is a set of tables that tell you how much money you made over the week and the kinds of jobs that you did. Just shoot me the examples of like put into the in character chat what the examples were of the jobs that you did, because when we meet together next week, we will talk about the hustles that you did. That's going to be one of the things we start with. Hey, what did
Cool.
you guys do this last week? Cool.
Cool.
And when are we paying for our rent and kibble? Is that the
So-
end
At
or the
the
beginning?
Yeah, so
beginning.
January has already been covered. So
Okay.
it will be February's rent will be at the end of February. So
No.
if you do not pay rent at the end of the month, you are homeless the beginning of the next month.
You mean the end of January.
No.
So January's paid.
January's
January-
paid, and then rent would be due on the 1st, right?
1st
No.
of February, or
No.
The end.
I am giving you guys until the end of the month to pay rent. So because you are ahead. So if you do not pay February's rent by 28 February, you will be out on your butt in March.
so rent's due 28 Feb.
Yes.
Well, rent due is probably due on the 1st. It's just they're giving you a 30-day
Listen.
leeway.
Come on.
I like messing with you. I love you.
I'm putting down the 28th of February, and I don't care what anybody says.
I'm going to add it to the calendar, to our shared CyberPunk calendar when rent is due. Right now, it's due at the end of the months. January was already covered, so you guys should enter February with a little bit extra money in your pocket.
Got it.
That was the plan, so that if there was
Got
something you missed from character creation, you could spend a little bit of money buying something else that you didn't get before.
Is part of the hustle including night markets?
No, that's going to be... Well... No, because some of the stuff you guys want to sell on night markets is something I'm going to have to work with. Like if you want to sell apples, for example,
Right.
at the
Yeah.
night
Right.
market.
Yep.
Yeah, that's something that you and I will have to do. So while your hustle is going to be kind of like a short story you're writing to
Mhm.
tell me what you did,
Yep.
the night markets and stuff over the next week will be something that we do in character chat between us.
Okay.
And I'll do a special night market that we can mod or whatever, so that we can get some of that out of the way. But it is almost 11. So go ahead, Mark.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us as always. If you'd like to support us, you can do so by clicking that follow button, and we appreciate you for doing so. Or if you have the ability, hit that subscribe button and you become one of our rock stars on Twitch. On YouTube, make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and of course the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload new content, which is almost every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. Or you can head to patreon.com/gamersledge, where you can become one of our patrons and get your name on every single show that we do, just like the fine folks scrolling up the screen right now are Patreon and Twitch producers. For Billy, for Anthony, for Naomi, for Jay, for Daniel, and myself. I think that's everybody. Did I miss anybody?
No.
Damn, first time, yes. Thank you all for watching. Tomorrow night will be our Gamers Ledge podcast, where we recap the gaming news for the last couple weeks, and that will be starting at 7:15 Pacific time, 9:15 Central, 10:15 Eastern. Thanks for watching. Until next time, game on.
Game on.